Hi, hello, good morning, my young officers. Welcome to Unacademy UPSC Articulate YouTube channel. So this is Nisha Nujumudeen, your educated Unacademy, an expert in Indian economy, current affairs, and MCQs. So here we have a very interesting series for the day, and this is a Sunday special series wherein we'll be discussing on the topic the most important one-year exclusive economy current affairs for UPSC CSE examination. So from Jan 2021 to December 2021, the most important hit list current affairs topics pertaining to the subject economy will be discussed in today's class. And you know the speciality of this particular series is point number one, they're absolutely free. Second is it's a 3-hour non-stop marathon series. So at a stretch for 3 to 4 hours, you are going to get a complete idea of what to study with regard to the subject economy, which means the current affairs of it. Instead of studying 10 or let's say 15 current affairs for one particular month from the subject economy, we'll be sorting out which is important. And from that, the targeted hit list topics or let's say the other pointers will be discussed. So this will enable you to have a quick understanding of what to study and what not to study with regard to your economy current affairs. Clear? So yes, Biswajit, good morning. Hi, Chandran. Yes, Ramya. Hello, good morning, all of you. I hope you're having a great time. It's Sunday, है ना? Let's have some, infotainment class sessions on Sunday because that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So all those who want to follow me for more of my lectures, what you do is below the description box of this particular video, you can find the link that is at Nisha Nujumudeen. That is the link of my Unacademy profile. You can follow me there and get updated of all the free special or the free live classes which I do in the Unacademy app, and also get access to the plus classes. See, be it free or be it plus, one thing I'll tell you, you can use the code Nisha IAS Live. I repeat, Nisha IAS Live. And today, if you see, being Sunday, we have a compact going on. So even to join that free series also, you can use the same code Nisha IAS Live. So this is not just for the discounts or let's say just for unlocking the free classes. No, it is also for putting you under the personal mentoring program which I'll be offering. Clear? That is the specialty of the code called as Nisha IAS Live. Clear? All those who have doubts and queries with regard to the Unacademy paid or plus subscription, feel free to get in touch with me because a lot of people are having doubts as to what is a normal subscription paid one and what is the iconic one. It's a premium subscription where you get multiple benefits and all. You will get one-to-one, mentoring session, interactive session, sab kuch like that. So you can follow me via my Telegram, and my Telegram ID is Nisha Nujumudeen for UPSC. Exclusively only Unacademy links, Unacademy updates will be put up over there. Be it the plus class, special class, that is free class in the app, and the YouTube sessions. Clear? And every day 8:30 to 9:30 for 1 hour, we will be doing a daily night editorial analysis in the same YouTube channel. So you can even block your calendars and your dates and that particular time for the editorial analysis of the day in a very, very simplified manner. So these are the sessions. Clear? Yes, Bharani. Yes, Prem. Good morning. Yeah, classes are going on, Bharani. Chalo. All fine? Shall we start? Indeed, it should be. So take a deep breath. We are going to have an exclusive non-stop 3 to 4 hour marathon on 1 year economic current affairs, that too month-wise. So as I told you, 360-degree coverage of the most important current affairs pertaining to the subject economy will be discussed. And now the specialities along with the current affairs, the static or the conceptual part, okay, of that particular topic, what we're discussing will also be covered. That is the whole idea for this particular series. Not only UPSC aspirants, even the state, PSC, those are preparing for the state PSC examinations, for bank examinations, or anybody who wants to get their current affairs updated, you can definitely go for this session because this is something that is going to update your knowledge and make you a knowledge hub in the field of economics as far as economic current affairs is concerned. Clear? So here we go. Yes, Ramya, here we go. From the month of Jan 2021, I have taken only 3 important topics, guys. Just 3 important, topics. There were 10 to 12 topics, but that is not required. So I have taken from 1st of Jan from the Hindu newspaper, then 24th of Jan, and from the PIB 14th of Jan. And here are the most important articles that you should know. One is based on new industrial infrastructure project. Second, single window clearance for coal. And third is Payment Infrastructure Development Fund Scheme. So let's quickly have a look into all these topics in a short, sweet and simple manner. Clear? Yes, Prem, Nisha ma'am, class in economics, current affairs is very useful. Please send PDF and Telegram. Of course, you will get it, Prem. Even in the Unacademy community also, you get in the Plus platform also. There is a dashboard where I keep uploading the notes. So all the Plus students do get it. So you can even enroll for the Plus as well. Clear? Perfect. So yes, let's quickly have a look into the first topic of the day, my young officers. Morning. Your brain should be really fresh enough. Yeah, here we go. The new industrial infrastructure project. So why we are studying this particular topic is, see, recently the Cabinet Committee in Economic Affairs, what happened was like they suddenly after the meeting, they approved 3 infrastructure proposals, okay, which is given to them. And the cost of that particular infrastructure proposal was worth 7,000 crore. And that was being proposed basically to set up greenfield industrial cities. So they will have a very good connectivity to major transportation corridors. There is something called as brownfield and greenfield investments. You would have been knowing that. I've taught you many a times. So brownfield investments or projects are those projects where we are doing some sort of improvements to the existing projects, or let's say other infrastructure perspective, or other adding up to the existing investments, I can tell you. Whereas greenfield is when you make a fresh investment or a fresh start. That's called as greenfield. So here we want to set up a fresh, or let's say a greenfield industrial cities, so there'll be better connection, or let's say connectivity to major transportation corridors. That is why the CCA has actually approved 3 infrastructure proposals. And come on, the cost is not less here. It is 7,000 crore, more than that, approximately 7,725. At the same time, with regard to the new industrial infrastructure project, what happened was like the cabinet also approved a modified scheme for interest subvention, for reduction of interest subvention. For what? For ethanol production. And they said we are going to expand the scheme so they can start including some alternatives like grain based distilleries. And because previously they used to do only molasses based one, so they want to try out something else as well. And through such kind of scheme, what happens? The production of ethanol has been encouraged, and that too this time it is in a more eco-friendly way, because we are increasing the production of ethanol from grains like your barley, your corn, your maize and rice. So automatically it is boosting up or increasing what? The production. And also the distillation capacity to, let's say, 1,000 crore liters. So automatically what is happening, guys? When the ethanol production has been increasing in this manner, it is helping us to increase the goal of, let's say, meeting 20% ethanol blending with petrol, that too by the year 2030. We all know that petrol is what? Non-renewable source of energy. So we got to find an alternative for that. And currently, if you see, the price of petrol is shooting up like anything. More than 100 rupees per liter, which is quite costly as a whole. So we got to find an alternative as a whole, right? So that is what this particular topic is all about. So talking about the various industrial infrastructure projects, we are going to study the very first topic. Is it clear, all of you? So there are multiple things to be understood here. Okay. So the key point is there was an approval given for 3 industrial infrastructure projects. Clear? And now these projects, which was proposed and given approval, it was based on major transportation corridors. And which are the 3 major transportation corridors, my young officers? Eastern and Western dedicated freight corridors, expressways, and third is national highways, which has a lot of proximity to your airports, your ports and all. Clear? That's it. And now through this, what happens when you're focusing on the major transportation corridors, automatically it start attracting investments. So now when more and more investments comes into the manufacturing or the industrial sector, which is called as the secondary sector of the economy, what happened? Don't you think so country India is improving? Of course we are. And that is enabling a country to be a strong global player in the global value chain. So for a country India to be an industrial hub, a global industrial or a global manufacturing hub, this will help us. And you can connect this point to the next current affairs, that is Make in India project. We can't say that Make in India was a complete success. It was a partial success and a partial failure. But then whatever, this made a lot of sense, I can tell you. Anyways, through this particular industrial infrastructure projects, another important point is that it will also create n number of job or employment opportunities. Because when such kind of industrial corridors develop, automatically employment opportunities increase, and the people in and around those areas get trained and they get some sort of employment. Automatically what happens? Their living standard increases, automatically contributing to what? The rise in GDP per capita, then growth and development. So somewhere or the other, the process is actually leading to the growth and development of the country as a whole. That is what this topic is trying to tell you in a very simplified way. Clear? And let me tell you something. I have not taken any simple topics of current affairs of the concerned months, because that and all you can learn by yourself. And already I have done a lot of current affairs class on the same topics, which are quite difficult to understand. Topics which are quite important and very hit list. And there's a lot of connected links. I am I have taken those kind of topics because that is what a marathon series should do. That's why those kind of topics have been chosen in today's class. Clear? Because you remember we did 360-degree of the 1 year economy current affairs, 30 minutes. You remember before the prelims in the same YouTube we did. So I didn't want to repeat the same thing. So if you have any doubts or queries, you can even get back to that PT 365 series of economy. Clear? Perfect. Now, basically, yes, Hari, namaskar. What is the industrial corridor, guys? We have been talking about development of the industrial corridors, eastern, western, freight corridors, etc., etc. So basically, industrial corridors are quite important. Why? Because they offer a very effective integration of what? Integration or a combination, I can tell you, between the industry and infrastructure. So when there is a proper integration or a combination between industry and infrastructure, automatically, don't you think so? Not only the economic, but even the social development is happening over there. Yes, it does do happen over there. Clear? Now, what are the importance or significance of this particular new industrial infrastructure projects, my young officers? Point number one, it becomes an avenue for export. Now, if you see the logistics sector that is booming up these days, and we have to give a lot of importance to that as well. Now, when these industrial corridors are put up, what happened? It will actually reduce the cost of logistics. So what is happening? The efficiency of the industrial production is also increasing. So now such efficiency with the decreased cost of production is making our Indian products more competitive in the international market. So it is said that export is more important compared to import. Don't you agree to that? Get back to your BOP now, your balance of payment. More of exports will give you better foreign exchange or forex or foreign revenue compared to import, right? Yeah, wonderful, Ari. Yes, the ease of doing business also happens there. And we earn better, I can tell you. Next, economic significance of establishing such kind of industrial infrastructure projects is job opportunities. Very true. I told you a couple of minutes before. When corridors comes, obviously, a lot of investments do come in for the development of a lot of industries in that particular area. So the people in that particular area, or let's say for the entire country, a load of employment opportunities created. And that is actually contributing to a greater extent for the growth and development of our country. Next is logistics. Yeah, that is also actually improving when such kind of projects do pop up. And investment opportunities. That is there. Because that only will lead to all the employment opportunities, right? Yes, very true, Ramya. It is FDI, foreign direct investments. Very true. Because that will be, kind of coming up. When the corridors are developed, automatically with high infrastructure developments and stuff, load of investments from other countries come in. We can actually attract it. So already we know that with regard to FDI, that is foreign direct investment, as per 2021 data, we are among the top 10 countries. We slipped to one position at the top 11th. But still, if you see the past 5 decades, we are doing great with regard to the foreign direct investments. India is one of the most attractive destinations to receive the FDI. Even in the COVID-19 pandemic also, we never, backed out. We were on the forefront. And if you see the industries like IT and software, they rank number one for attracting more FDIs, guys, in our country, India, which belong to the service sector of the economy. Clear? Yes, Soham, good morning. Where were you? So these are the important points to be understood with regard to this particular topic. So these are the economic benefits. Now, having understood the economic benefits of such kind of new industrial infrastructure projects, see, when industry is coming up, guys, environmentally also they could be an advantage or a disadvantage. So what are the environmental significance, importance of such kind of projects, guys? Point number one. Now, when there is an establishment of such industrial units in a scattered manner, see, we are not focusing on, let's say, only Gujarat or only Tamil Nadu or only Andhra. No, we're kind of having it in a scattered manner. So automatically across the states of our country, India, when that has been spread out, we can prevent the monopoly, or let's say the concentration of industries in one particular location. Because one particular location, and again, a lot of pollutions, air, water, sea, sub kuch kind of pollution happens, and we can actually prevent environmental degradation, guys, through such kind of scattering or let's say such kind of scattered manner of the establishment of industrial units. Clear? Yes, Tejas, good morning. So these are the environmental significance to be understood. What about the socio-economic significance? Very simple. When an industrial corridor is coming up, obviously the area will develop over there. Your industrial township, the education institution, hospital, all the facilities will start increasing. And people are also getting an employment. They get an income. So what happened? The living standard of the people increases. So human development, that is actually happening over there. Clear? And you can even prevent migration of people from their homes to far off places because you're getting an employment opportunity there. You're getting an income over there. So multiple benefits are put up there. Clear? Now, the next point here is having understood the importance of this, establishment of new industrial infrastructure projects. What is the way forward? Again, to make our country, India's corridors more successful, we have to be a part of the current version 4 industrial revolution, guys. Like a Chitti Robo 2, 3 and all, na Rajinikanth movie and a Chitti Robo. Something like that. Industrial revolution is currently in the peak of 4, version 4. So to make all these industrial corridors, your eastern or western freight corridors and all successful, we have to be an active part of the industrial revolution 4, guys, because that is the revolution what we're having today as far as the 21st century is concerned, and that will enable our country India to be shaped by a fresh wave of innovations and ideas and creativity in so many ultra modern technological areas like artificial intelligence, smart robotics, materials that are lighter and tougher, etc., etc. Clear? And thus, it is said that for our country, India, to lead the world in the fourth wave of industrial revolution, this kind of industrial corridors will help. So the reason why industrial corridor projects have been approved by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs is just because the Industrial Revolution version 4 requires the support of the development of industrial corridors for our country, India, to be an active part of it. Clear? Because that will enable us to take a major leap in the race of development as far as the country India is concerned. This is the reason why we are spending 7,725 crores, guys, for such kind of development of industrial corridors with regard to the industrial infrastructure projects. Clear? This is the sole reason. One word, industrial revolution. For that, all these things have to take place. Clear? So don't you think so? Spending so much of crores of money is worth enough? Of course it is. That is what this topic is trying to tell you. So yeah, having understood this topic, let's quickly have a look into the next topic from the month of Jan 2021. Single window clearance for coal. So we all know that coal is a non-renewable source of energy, but still we have to preserve it. It has become a major source of essential import due to the lack of availability for our country India and lack of inability of us to produce it. It becomes under the category called as essential import. So what is the single window for clearance? It talks about a portal or online stuff. Okay. So why we are studying this is because, yes, Priya, why we are studying this is because the union government, okay, they announced a new online single window clearance portal. For which sector? Coal sector. And we all know that we cannot even think of avoiding the coal sector because they can be the biggest contributor towards the target of a country, India, to become a US $5 trillion economy, guys, by the year 2025. If you see the previous year economic survey, what was it said? It said that we have to, our goal is to become a $5 trillion economy by the year 2025. If you want to attain that goal, come on. Coal sector is an important factor as a whole. So we have to focus more on the development of that and maintenance of that. And there is something very irony to this, guys, a very contradicting factor. You know something? We are the world's largest, or let's say we are the world's fourth largest coal reserve. We have the tagline. When India is the world's fourth largest coal reserves, guys, then why are we importing? Anybody can think, come on, we are in the fourth rank number 4 with regard to having the biggest coal reserves. And what the hell? Why are we really importing? That big question comes to your brain because of the lack of proper management and the excess demand and other perspective. Yes, the rising demand. In spite of us having the world's fourth largest coal reserve, we are still importing coal in huge amount. And it is said that the next tranche of commercial mining auction that would be launched in Jan 2021 in the end, and yes, it was launched as a whole. So these are the important points to be noted. So just see the third point. Because of this third point, really, guys, the single window clearance for coal has been put forward. Clear? Yes, Soham, we did too much in power plants and the quality of coal is not too high. That is a point to be taken. Yeah, the quality of coal, yeah, a lot more has to be done. That is a valid point. Very true. Now, what do you think, guys? Such kind of single window portal will do for us? The single window clearance for coal, such kind of portal, it will be very, very useful. Or let's say it will start allowing successful bidders to operationalize coal mines very quickly. And now we know something like, It's minimum government and maximum governance. Yeah. So keeping that in mind, this makes a lot of sense, they're saying. And automatically in the country's coal sector, it will further ease the business, ease of doing business, index. And also it will help in bringing huge investments and automatically create a lot of employment, guys. So these are the important points to be considered. And currently, if you see presently about 19 major approvals or clearances, they are very much required before starting a coal mine in a country. That is another important point to be noted. Clear? Yes, Bharani, we already explored our coal reserves. Of course, Bharani, see, we are the fourth largest in the terms of coal reserve, but still we, as Soham is saying, the quality is not that much, and somewhere the other, we are exploiting it, way more than what is required. So automatically we depend upon importing. That's the whole idea here. Clear? We are already, we are exploiting it. That is when we are still importing it in spite of having the reserves also. It's coming, it's going. It's coming, it's going. That's how it works. Yes, Ramya is asking, why can't we move to other resources and effective like solar? Coal is not renewable. See, we are focusing on solar. Who said that we are not focusing on solar? That is the renewable source of energy. And why coal is because coal is an important sector for mining and all the possibility you need coal. You cannot find an alternative for coal very soon. You have solar, you have wind, you have hydro or thermal, all these things. But petrol or let's say coal and other products, these kind of things, it will take a huge time to replace it completely. So not everybody is having the solar panels or let's say solar facility out there due to the increase in cost and other perspectives. So now it's very important that we are preserving whatever non-renewable resources we have and adding up more to the renewable perspective. That is why I study a lot of things based on the solar perspective. That is indeed the hit list, no doubt in that. Clear? And have you heard about the Pariveshka mechanism? Now, the Parivesh mechanism for forest and environment related clearances, that will also be merged in the so-called new single window clearance coal mechanism, because that will enable the operationalization of coal blocks in a much easier manner. Clear? And these are for you to just know how it actually works and all. So it's not that important. Now, something else is important out here, my young officers. Let me tell you. Payment Infrastructure Development Fund Scheme. This is the next or the third topic for the month of Jan 2021. So now what happened was like the Central Bank of a country, India, that is RBI. RBI announced the authorization of something called as PIDF scheme. That is Payment Infrastructure Development Fund Scheme. So what is that all about? Let's quickly have a look into it. It's from the monetary economy perspective. So the objective or the reason why this particular scheme was put forward is RBI wanted to develop a payment acceptance infrastructure exclusively with focus on tier 3 to tier 6 cities or centers. And they were also having a very special focus on the northeastern states of our country because that particular state requires more of attention. Don't you think so? Yes, because we need to have a lot of attention over there as well. Right? So keeping that in mind, one second. Yeah, keeping that in mind, this particular PIDF scheme was put forward. So what is the time period, guys? It is said that this particular payment infrastructure development scheme, it will be operational. That particular fund will be operational for 3 years, starting from Jan 2021 to another 2 more years. That is 2023, I can tell you. So for another 2 more years, we can see the so-called PIDF in operation. And if at all the government wants to extend, now, then it is their choice to extend or not extend. That depends upon them. Clear? Now, who manages such kind of fund, guys? Of course, RBI is the one who put forward. Now, for that, RBI has framed a council called as an advisory council, and that comes under the chairmanship of RBI's deputy governor, Mr. BP Kanungo, and he has been constituted for managing the PIDF. Clear? And now, what about the funds that has been allocated to such kind of fund called as PIDF fund? If you see, currently the Payment Infrastructure Development Fund, it has an amount of 345 crore. And in that 345 crore, 250 crore is given by RBI. And the remaining 95 crore is contributed by the major authorized card network in the country. And I can tell you all these authorized card networks, they can contribute up to rupees 100 crore also. And besides the initial, corpus of the amount, this Payment Infrastructure Development Fund, they can also receive annual contributions from card networks, card issuing banks, and subkuts like that. So the amount of money that they can receive is unlimited. Let me tell you that. The way the kind of openings are too much there. Clear? Now, how this will be implemented, my young officers? Now, through such kind of PIDF scheme, the focus of RBI is to target those merchants who are yet to be terminalized. What is terminalized? The whole point is there are few merchants still today who do not have any payment acceptance devices. They still depend on cash. They do not have any sort of payment acceptance device like POS or let's say scanning or QR or whatever it is. So basically to bring them or focus them or make them coming under this target only, this kind of thing is put forward. And the merchants or the traders who are involved in services like transport, hospitality, government payments, fuel pumps, PDS, shop, healthcare, kirana shops, etc., they'll be included. And that is how you will be able to marginalize, or let's say you will be able to create an exclusivity, I can tell you. And what you will use with this fund, my young officers, the PIDF fund will be used to subsidize banks and non-banks for deploying such kind of payment infrastructure. So you'll be able to achieve the target, the specific target of what the RBI has put forward with regard to penetration of funds. Clear? This is how it happens. Is it very clear, all of you? Now, in the PIDF scheme, couple of other things that is important is over here. It is said that they focus on tier 3 to tier 6 city centers, right? It is said that tier 3 and tier 4 centers, they'll be allocated 30% of acceptance devices. Whereas tier 5 and 6, they'll get 60%. And northeastern, they'll be going, let's say, at another 10%. So, multiple payment acceptance devices along with the infrastructure supporting underlying card payments like your POS. When we go to a shop, yes, Samrat, good afternoon. When we go to a shop, okay, normally you have the POS, you have the MPS, that is mobile point of sale, then GPRS, general packet radio service, then PTSTN, that is PSTN, the public switched telephone network, then these days it's QR code. Go everywhere, keep scanning. That's how it goes, right? So all these kind of based payments, let me tell you, they'll be funded under the scheme. Which scheme? The Payment Infrastructure Development Scheme, PIDF scheme. Clear? So in a very short, sweet and simple manner, what is happening in and around you when you go to make a payment outside and you buy something, that is what this PIDF scheme is all about. Clear? So start connecting this topic with the reality because it makes a lot of sense. And this is about the subsidy, guys. How is the breakup is done, just for you to know. That's not that important, but still I've given it over here for you to have a better understanding. So thus, some of the important points to be noted over here is the setting of such kind of fund or scheme called as PIDF scheme. It is said that they are in line with the measures which has been proposed, given by whom? The vision document on payment and settlement system in India for the year 2019 to 21. And yes, our country, India, the monetary authority, that is, RBI, they have also constructed a composite DPI, Digital Payment Index. Why? So through the DPI index, we'll be able to capture the extent of all the online or digitalization of payments across the country. So now DPI or Digital Payment Index is also another hit list topic. Already we have discussed, lot of points based on that. So please go through that as well. From this particular topic, another hit list topic is DPI. Clear? And also Payment and Settlement System, PSS. Clear? So these are a couple of important points to be noted. We are done with the month of Jan 2021 economy current affairs. Is it very clear, all of you? Shall we go to the next month, that is the month of Feb? So here we have another blooming month, that is the month of Feb 2021, the shortest month always, right? So let's quickly have a look into how many current affairs in the month of Feb. Though it is the shortest month also, the topics are literally on fire, I can tell you. We have solid 3 important topics, guys. So from 5th of February, from the Hindu newspaper, we have taxing cryptocurrencies. Oh my goodness, that particular topic, guys, the cryptocurrencies was hitting the bar, I can tell you. It was a killer topic. It was like a fire everywhere. Crypto, crypto, crypto. So this actually has something to do with the technology as well. But still currencies, cryptocurrencies in the context of economy and the context of taxing is coming, we're discussing here. Okay. And then from your FE on 22nd February from the Financial Express, you had corruption perception index because that was also brought in. And then from 27th February, from the last day of the month, we had another important topic, again the hit list topic, currency swap line. So these are topics which are not that common. So you need to understand the conceptual or let's say static part of it along with the current affairs. Only then it makes a lot of sense. You understand? So that is why this kind of topic is taken forward. Clear? So let's have a quick look into these hit list topic. Now, I want all of you to take a piece of notebook or paper or at least take a snap. Jan, 3 current affairs. Feb, 3 current affairs. Write it down. How many topics you studied in this marathon in a detailed manner. In these 3 topics, you will be discussing another 6 topics because in between the related current affairs come up, right? So this will enable you to understand, oh my goodness, in a short span of time, कितना topics cover कर दिए यार. एकदम lot of topics, right? So this makes you feel satisfied. This makes you feel, like, oh my goodness, I have done something. And that too, you may think, let's say, taxing cryptocurrency and corruption, you will take another 1 hour to study. But just like that, without even you knowing, in 15 minutes, guys, we are fatafat finishing it off. The current affairs and the static, from scratch to advanced level. So that is actually benefiting you to a greater extent, right? With the method of interlinkaging. So write it down for your better understanding. And stick that paper on your wall or room for you to understand that yes, you are done with 1 year economic current affairs in a very simple and lucid manner. Clear? Yes or no? It should be a big yes. How is it, Josh? Oh my goodness. People are still thinking. You want more of MCQs? I'll be coming with more of MCQs also based on economy, current affairs, guys, which we discussed. And you'll be getting so many, Unacademy hats from me like this. Not hats, the, table hats like this. So those who want to have a table hats of Unacademy from me, have to score full on full for the MCQs in the special classes. Anyways. Abhishek is saying MCQs will be better. Of course, Abhishek, it will be there, but not in YouTube, yeah. YouTube is always good for theory, Whereas Unacademic are special class. The app classes, they are the best for, the MCQs because fatafat, you do have the polling. And one more thing, let me tell you something. Thank you so much, all of you, for the love, the trust, and the confidence you have shown in my lectures. Because recently I did something called as, top hit list environmental current affairs. It was a 2.3 to 3 hours marathon series. In 6 days, we crossed 1 lakh plus views. So it was another hit list stuff for me. I think I've already shared the same to you. So in 6 days, this marathon series crossed that and making me the top educator in YouTube once again. So thank you so much for all your belief in my lectures because I think the trust, the belief, and the confidence you people have. No matter if it is a 4-hour marathon, also, chalo, we are here to watch ma'am's session. We are here to get more out of it. So this is something which made me feel very happy. And I thought I should thank you all in the next session. That's why I'm doing it now. So without my learners, come on, though I'm a good teacher or bad teacher or average teacher, whatever, that is not the point here. Good, bad, average is not the question here. It's about being the best or being the outstanding, And I feel at least I could do some sort of justice in what I'm doing with my lessons as far as UPSC is concerned for my learners. So thank you so much for all the belief, trust, and confidence you have been giving, you have been showering upon my classes. So yes. Fine. So shall we quickly have a look into the topics? Yes, Jai? Perfect. So here we go. The most interesting topic, taxing cryptocurrencies. Here we go. Why are we studying this? If you see the finance ministry in the month of Feb 2021, what happened was like they proposed instituting an 18% GST on crypto trading. So basically, what is cryptocurrency, guys? Cryptocurrencies are actually coming under the factor called as blockchain technology. Okay. Now, the most important cryptocurrency is Bitcoin, the most popular one. Since 2008, we have it. And if you see Facebook, they have another cryptocurrency called as Libra. But if you see this cryptocurrencies, they are an online, ledger or digital currency, which cannot be seen or touched, which cannot be touched or filled, but rather online, in the online way, in a more secured manner, you can do the transactions. But then there are a lot of collaterals also in cryptocurrencies. So now, keeping in mind what is cryptocurrency, you need to understand that what happened was like suddenly the finance ministry said, okay, let's put a GST of 18% if somebody wants to do a crypto trading, which means crypto is coming under the purview of government also. And recently, if you see again, another interesting part is all the private, cryptocurrencies. The RBI said that has to be banned. because of excess of monopoly and kallatram and other corruptions. Okay, that is also another important current affairs to be understood. So now before going into detail with regard to the current affairs of this particular topic, don't you think so? You should have a quick look into what is a cryptocurrency in a theoretical way or in a static way to brush up your concepts. Yes. So here we go. The cryptocurrencies. The next thing that comes to your brain is Bitcoins, Libra, etc., etc. All the cryptocurrencies out there and the blockchain technology under which this comes. Basically, a cryptocurrency is nothing but a digital representation of value. And this can only be digitally traded or onlinely traded, guys. And now this is also something that functions like money. It is a medium of exchange. It is having a unit of account and it is having a store of value. But the whole point is, though they have the similar functions like money, being a medium of exchange, unit of account and store of value, they do not have a legal tender status. Whereas money or currency is something that has a legal tender status. So that is one thing that doesn't make cryptocurrency that important compared to money, because legal tender status should be given. That is not given. So that is why it is said that a lot of killatrams or corruptions can take place in cryptocurrency. But anyway, this is a digital representation of what? The value. Clear? Which can be traded digitally or online. So that's this cryptocurrency, guys. Another important point is that it fulfills all the functions, like being a unit of account, you can store the value, you can have it can be used as medium of exchange with a lot of securities and all. But it can be done only by agreement within one particular community. For example, I or you cannot just have a trading in cryptocurrency just like that. You should fall within the domain. You have to be a trader in cryptocurrency. You have to have this blockchain technology to access. And within that, within the community of users of virtual or online currency, then you can go for the trading of what? Cryptocurrency. So the agreement is very important over there. And one more thing, it is totally different from the concept of money that we have in our hands. Because this cryptocurrency being a digital currency, guys, they are not issued or neither guaranteed by any jurisdiction. It doesn't have any legal, tender status and all. And thus, cryptocurrency being a type of virtual currency, what do? They use cryptography. See, when you use your WhatsApp, for you to have a very good security perspective, you have something called as end-to-end encryption. For the better security purpose, when you scan a code, you can see end-to-end encryption. Similarly, for the security purpose of this, they use something called as cryptography. Why? Because using this cryptography, they will secure the transactions that are digitally or recorded on online basis on a distributed ledger like your blockchain. Through that technology, it is possible. You can see this picture, guys. It all happens online. It can never be done offline. Clear? Perfect. And for example, if there is a transaction, let's say for example, Priya, Tejas, Ashtosh and myself, we are having a transaction, okay, in cryptocurrency. We all belong to the community of users of virtual currency, for example. Now, when there is a transaction which is involving cryptocurrency, which is recorded on a distributed ledger, that is called as what? On-chain transaction, which is a transaction that is not recorded on that is whatever is recorded is called as on-chain transaction. Whereas a transaction that is not recorded on the distributed ledger or online ledger of cryptocurrency, that is called as off-chain transactions, where a lot of kallatram happens in the off-chain perspective. That is why all the private cryptocurrencies, the government said that has to be banned, and RBI has to have a check on all these things as a whole. Clear? Perfect. So you should know what is cryptocurrency, because this is not from the economy, guys. It is from the science and tech perspective, technology perspective. But we are connecting economy because the factor called currency, the factor called, the medium of exchange, unit of value, all these things are coming up. So this is a current affairs from two different domains, economy plus science and tech together. Clear? But here we are going to focus on the economy perspective, because the finance ministry said, chalo, let's go for a GST, guys. If you want to trade the cryptocurrencies, 18% GST, damn short on that. Clear? That is why this particular topic was taken. As simple as that, we are done with this topic. So as far as this topic is concerned, the only single point is 18% GST on crypto trading. And what is cryptocurrency and the other functionalities of it. With that, we are done with that particular topic in a short, sweet and simple manner. Moving on to the next topic. Corruption Perception Index 2020. So why are we studying this? Let's quickly have a look into it. Not even 5 minutes. I'll take only 4 minutes for this topic. Here we go. Why did we study this? Recently, if you see in the month of Feb 2021, our country India, okay, we slipped 6 places among 180 countries, guys. So our rank was 86 in the Corruption Perception Index, guys. And if you see in the year 2019, we were really, really better, guys. At least we were 80th position. Instead of decreasing to 76, we slipped 6 places to 86, which means corruption is increasing. We have to keep a huge check onto that. And who releases this CPI index, guys? Corruption Perception Index is released by Transparency International. See, corruption is what? Kallatrams, fraud rates, kuch like that. So to avoid corruption, you need to be more transparent. So keep that in mind. To avoid corruption, transparency is required. So now Corruption Perception Index is released by whom? Transparency International. For you to memorize the word called as Transparency International, you can use this method. Clear? And thus the CPI or the Corruption Perception Index, what do? They rank 180 countries, okay, and territories by certain level or let's say by certain perceived level of public sector corruption, guys. That is what the experts and business people say. That's how they basically do it. If you see in a country, you tell me, from the bus conductor to the top level authority. It's a reality. Okay? I think this should be said. From a bus conductor to the top level authority who rules your country, India, there is corruption. From 0.75 paisa or 0.25 paisa, which a bus conductor does by not giving you. Because when I was a student, when I used to take a bus travel, it's just 25 paisa. Now why you want to have it? So I used to think, from 10 students or 100 students, when the person does the same thing, is he not earning a lot of great money, guys, apart from the money that he gets his salary? Yes, he is. Is that not a corruption? And nicely they'll say it's just a 25 paisa and just leave it. Tomorrow we'll see. Tomorrow we'll see. Like that they used to say. So from there to the top level, for you to get a property registered, for you to do any sort of other things, you need to do bribing. You know, a lot of corruption happens there, right? So now, because that is too much for a country India, because more of under transactions or black transactions are quite more in a country India only, our rank has become 86th among 180 countries. But at least we should be happy that we are not 100 plus. We are inside 100 only, guys. But still a lot more has to be done. We have to be inside 50 to say that, yeah, we are able to control this corruption that is like a virus, which is spread across public and private sector, especially the public sectors, that we can control them to a greater extent. Clear? Now, you know how do they kind of calculate this? There is a scale of 0 to 100. For example, if the rank is 0 means, the meaning of that is, as per the Corruption Perception Index, that country is highly corrupt. If it is 100 means, oh my goodness, very, very clean. You tell me one country which is 0% corruption, guys, which is corruption free, which is completely corruption free. I like that point, Ramya. You know, Ramya said something to me. Postmaster also asks Diwali and Pongal money, even though they are central government officer. I can understand that in the Diwali that happened in this October, somebody has come and asked you the bonus or money. I can truly understand that. That's true, guys. Even the post people, that's true. The postal people, they come and say, give us a bonus, give us a thing. They are paid, but still they have it in of asking it. Are we supposed to pay them? Not required. Is somebody going to pay us simply like that? See, out of generous or courtesy, you kind of pay. But then you're not supposed to do that. All these are part of corruptions only. It's called as kimbalam. That is shambalam. Salary is called as shambalam in Malayalam and Tamil. Kimbalam is what? The other way out of it. The electricity officers, okay. If you want to get a clearance or something passed of your home or something, they are paid very high. You keep something on the table, it will be done then and there, the next moment. So all people earn a lot through kimbalams, guys. That kallatram is on the rise, way beyond, I should tell you. Anyways, and this is a beautiful topic because corruption is something which makes you think to a greater extent. Let me tell you that. Now, as far as Corruption Perception Index 2020 is concerned. So basically, this index, don't you think so? It's giving you complete a grim picture of the state of corruption worldwide. So you're comparing your country with so many other countries across. And if you see over the years, though most countries, they have made little to no progress in tackling or eliminating corruption in nearly a decade or 10 years, there are so many countries, more than 2/3 of the countries, guys, they score below 50 with an average score of just 43. So we can't say no improvement, but yeah, some sort of improvement, but not up to the mark, but still they're trying. So a lot more push has to be done to improve. This is what I too feel. Clear? And one more thing, see, this corruption, one point is that, moreover, they not only undermine the global health response to cover, to COVID-19, but sorry, to cover 9, but they contribute to continuing crisis of democracy as a whole. See, when there are too much of corruption, what happens? You're actually degrading the growth of your country as a whole. Don't you think so? Yes. So all these important points have to be noted. The next one, who are the top performers, guys? Here we go. The top countries, as I told you, on corruption perception index. Basically, all the Scandinavian countries and all, now the Scandinavian countries, they rank number 1. Denmark, New Zealand, these 2 countries rank number 1 for CPI index, and their score is 88, followed by Finland, Singapore, Sweden, and Switzerland, because they have a score of 85. So they are doing great. India, you cannot say we are in the middle also. Yeah, more or less we are, yeah, middle to low middle category we are. Who are the poor performers? Oh my goodness. South Sudan and Somalia. They are terrible. They are the bottom most countries, and the score is of a scale of 0 to 100. It is 12. I am talking about the CPI index. That is corruption perception index. Is it very clear, all of you? And what about the region specific, guys? Regionally, if you see, which are the countries which are, all the regions which are having high of corruption, less of corruption, if you see, the highest scoring region is Western Europe and the EU, that is European Union, because they have an average score of 66, pretty good. What are the lowest scoring? Of course, the African countries, the African region, Sub-Saharan Africa, Eastern Europe, and Central Asia. See, Eastern Europe is coming. See, Western Europe is the highest scoring region for CPI index, corruption perception index. See, don't confuse CPI with consumer price index, guys. See, consumer price index is also called as CPI, but here we're talking about the corruption perception index. Please keep that in mind. Okay. So Western is high, whereas Eastern Europe is having a very low scoring, guys, as far as corruption perception index is concerned. Clear? What about India? This is very important. This point is very, 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 very important. Okay. Let me highlight for you people. Okay. If you see in the year 2020, India's score was 40. In 2019, 41. And yeah, as far as the progress of a country India is concerned, what do you think, guys? Is it high or low? See, we have experienced a slow progress in the anti-corruption efforts, guys, with a lot of government commitments. So then we'll be able to make a lot of reform, not yet utilizing effectively, but still we are being able to do a lot of progress, but then in a slow manner. See, like a turtle we are, or a tortoise we are. Slowly we are doing. Instead of being a rabbit, we are being a tortoise. But that cannot be the case. That cannot work out like that. A little more speed has to come. Though you cannot be the rabbit also, at least a minimum speed has to come up. Otherwise, it will greatly hamper, or let's say it will be a great hurdle or obstacle to the growth and development of a country India. Because when corruption is more common, a lot of other factors will be put down. Clear? And globally, a country India's position has to be kept up now. It's not a joke again here. You have to really keep it up. Clear? So now I thought, since we are studying, yes, Ikta Chahunan, can I apply for UPSC 2022 held in June as per my date of birth is 27 June 2001. Am I eligible? No, you are not. 2001 means you will be 20 only, na? 2021. No. 2002, 20, 2001 June you will become now. If the exam is after your birthday, it could be. If it is before that, no. For example, if they're postponing June to July, then you can. See, once, for example, if your birthday is on June 1, then you can Ikta, but otherwise, no. You have to complete 21 years of age as per the recordable date of birth document given in your Aadhaar or whatever other identification proof. Clear? That's how it goes. Anyways, back to class. So now, the next important thing is, I thought, since it is the COVID perspective, don't you think so? We have to, connect this corruption with the recent COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, you won't believe in the COVID-19 pandemic for vaccinations and for every other things. Oh my goodness, the corruption was endless. And now, even in the essential public services, you could see a load of corruptions brought in. And if you see corruption, health, and COVID-19, let's quickly have a look into that. I thought I should bring this topic for you to have a better understanding, because that is a burning topic these days. COVID everywhere, and how can you relate that to the different perspective? This corruption, I can tell you, it shifts public spending away from essential public service. And the countries which are having very, very high levels of corruption, okay, irrespective of the economic development, they tend to spend less on health. Why? Because you can see a lot of corruption is happening in that particular field as a whole. And many a times, very, very high levels of corruption occur. I can tell you, they are associated with lower universal healthcare coverage. And you can see a very, very high rates of IMR and MMR. Infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, and also deaths from disease like cancer, diabetes, respiratory, and cardiovascular diseases. Too many corruptions. People even sell organs here. People even bargain with the health of you people. And you loot others with all the high costs and other stuffs as a whole. Clear? And now, connecting corruption with the SDG, that is Sustainable Development Goal. We all know that out of the 17 goals of SDG, which has to be attained by the year 2030, health is also an important perspective, right? So how is corruption connected to that, my young officers? Let's have a look into it. If you see, corruption is one of the key barriers for achieving what? The UN's SDG goals. And this pandemic, COVID-19, oh my goodness, it is making those goals even more difficult to attain. If you go to a public or a private hospital, people say it's free of cost. But the crowd, or let's say the other perspective, no hospital beds. There was a time when hospital beds were not available, even in the government or the private hospitals. People had to end up paying more and they have to be on the road with all the ambulance and mobile ambulance and hospital beds to get treated. A lot of people died. So those who had money could survive. The others, that's it. In spite of being a public or a government hospital, also they couldn't even survive. They had a lot of corruption based on that. You understand? So now this pandemic made the goals of attaining, very good health, or let's say, to attain the goal of SDG was even more difficult. And corruption is one of the most important key barriers or difficulties, I can tell you. Clear? Is it very clear, all of you? Okay. Now, what you can do for this? As simple as that. What could be done for this? Point number one, we have to start strengthening oversight institutions. Why? And to make sure that it's not one or two, rather it is, reaching everyone who are in need. So strengthen the oversight institutions to ensure the resource reach those most in need, the most vulnerable people are getting it up. And all the anti-corruption authorities and all the other oversight institutions, they should have sufficient funds with them, the resource and also the other independence or the freedom, so then we'll be able to perform the duties well in advance without much of interference and much of other hurdles or obstacles. So this is one of the recommendation. Next is, let's have an open and transparent contracting to reduce the compact wrongdoing. That is, we have to have the rules and regulations put in such a way that we are able to reduce the complex wrongdoing then and there, and ensure the fair pricing, reduce the conflict of interest and all. India being the most, one of the biggest democracies in the entire globe, we have to make sure that we, not only in terms of the name, but also in practicality or applicability, we are really democratic with less of, corruption. Clear? And there should be, an access in which we should, we should have an access or availability to all the public data, or let's say there should be an easily, timely and accessibility to all the other perspectives without much of difficulties. So these are the few recommendations that has been put forward. Clear? That's it. We are done with the second topic for the month of, February. Any doubt? Perfect. That's great to go. The next important topic from the month of Feb 2021 economic current affairs is currency swap line. Why are we learning this? It comes from the area monetary economics. Okay, and this is an important topic again because it's from the monetary economics perspective. So what happened is, like, why we study this is currently our country India was working with US. Why? Because they wanted to secure a dollar swap line. So when you are able to acquire that, it will help in better management of the external account and provide extra cushion in the event of an abrupt outflow of fund. So basically, to manage that, only a dollar swap line, our country India was working US, and also to facilitate the development of a very good bullion market in our country India, and for enabling a very good framework for all the banking units in IFSC, so that we'll be able to operate the unallocated accounts. All for all these things only, this dollar swap line, or let's say currency swap line, was brought in between India and US. Clear? Now, having understood why we are studying this particular topic, or what is the current affairs of this particular topic, don't you think so? You should know, first of all, what is a swap line, and then what is a currency swap line? There are many people who doesn't even know what is a swap line. Swapping is what? Changing. Like from here to there, you take your phone, you swap your screen, the next screen comes. You're kind of swapping up. A kind of exchange, I can tell you. So now let's quickly have a look into what is swap line in a simple term. Okay, for you to understand this current affairs in a better way. So basically, a swap line in the terms of economy is a temporary reciprocal currency arrangement, which happens between two central banks For example, the central bank for a country India is RBI. The central bank for US is Federal Reserve Bank. So between these two central banks of two different countries, when there is a temporary reciprocal currency arrangement, it's called a swap line. So what they will do under the swap line is that, or this arrangement is that, these central banks who are a part of it, they agree to keep a supply of their country's currency that is available to trade another central bank at the current exchange rate. They'll agree that, okay, whatever you want to trade, let's keep it at the current exchange rate. And now these two central banks who are a part of this agreement or arrangement, they'll agree to swap back these quantities of their two currencies, Indian rupees and US dollar. And that too, they'll do that at a very particular or specified date in the future. Let's say after 3 months or 6 years or 6 months or 1 year. And it could even be the next day also, or even 3 months later. But whenever they're exchanging, the whole condition is they will use the same exchange rate as in the first transaction. If the exchange rate is 10%, it will be 10% even the next day or after 6 months or after 1 year also. For example, after 1 year or 6 months, the rate could increase to 25. But still, whatever exchange rate they used in the first transaction, that will be used. Clear? That is called a swap line. A temporary reciprocal currency arrangement. Two central banks involved when they are doing the transactions or when they want to swap back their quantities of two currencies and the very same exchange rate as in the first transaction, it will be done. Clear? Yes, Priya? It can go up to a year in some exclusive conditions. Maximum next day, 3 months, 6 months, or up to within 1 year, it can happen. But most cases it has not gone after 1 year because temporary now. So more than 1 year is not applicable. Then it becomes permanent. Because within 365 days, okay. But mostly they do it like 3 to 4 months, not more than that. Clear? This is called as a swap line. Now, keeping this in mind, now you read the current affairs of this. So now, having understood what is a swap line, a country India, we are working with US. Why? Because we want to secure a dollar swap line. So now, when you have a dollar swap line, don't you think that will enable a country India to have a better management of the external account of us? And if there is an abrupt outflow of funds, we'll be able to manage them properly. And also for the development of the bullion market for our country India, this is required. So this is why we are studying this particular topic. Sometimes when you see some current affairs, without having an understanding or a knowledge of the static portion of it, it becomes difficult. Now, since you've understood what is a swap line in a simplified way, it becomes even more easy for you to understand why you study this. Clear? Yes, Ramya, what is the purpose? Very simple. For development of billion market for country India, and we'll be able to have a very good framework for all the banking units in the IFSC now, where they'll be able to operate such funds which are unallocated. All these things will be able to operate in a very smooth manner with lack of when there's a lack of ability funds and all. Is it clear, Ramya? Perfect. Now, with regard to the currency swap line, okay. India and US is, they're kind of swapping it. A dollar swap line is happening. And already if you see our country, India, we have a $75 billion bilateral currency swap line. That too with country like Japan. And if you see Japan, they have the second highest dollar reserves, guys, after China. And now we are having a bilateral currency swap with them as well. That's why always India and Japan relation is on the rise. And the Reserve Bank of India and Central Bank of country, we also offer similar swap lines to central banks in the SAARC region, South Asian Association Brazil Corporation. And that will come up to a total corpus of, let's say, 2 billion. So we are doing, it's not like we are not doing or we are starting only with US. Already we have with Japan, then we have with the, we have some swap lines with the SAARC regions as well, the central banks of that as well. Clear? Yes, Prem, Nisha ma'am, does US is only country should value dollar as global? What is the question? US is the only country to value dollar as global currency. See, dollar is the most important valued currency of all. Let's say the weight having the highest weighted currencies in the entire globe. There are 5 important currencies worldwide: US dollar, Japanese renminbi, sorry, Chinese renminbi, Japanese yen, then euro, and pound. Indian rupee doesn't come out of that. US dollar has the highest weightage. Clear? When you study your special drawing rights, SDR, the International Reserve of IMF, International Monetary Fund. You remember I've taught you this 5 important currencies and stuffs like that. Please get back to those. Clear? Now, so Ramya was asking the purpose. I told you the purpose to facilitate bullion market development and all. But apart from that, there are some of the important points or the significance of this currency swap line as a whole. Now, point number 1 is, Why? Why such kind of currency swap line? I know that when if I leave you like this, you'll be still confused. Just telling you what is a currency swap line, the current affairs, and just leaving, so many points will come to your brain. So for you to have a better understanding and also to help you for your MCQs and also for your mains answer writing, if such kind of topics come, this particular heading will help you. That is when you learn about the importance or the need or the significance, why you need such kind of currency swap line. Here we go. To have a managed exchange rate. That is, in the managed floating or flexible exchange rate, they provide extra cushion to the central bank of a country, India RBI. It becomes all the more easy. And this is a very, very important or a significant monetary policy tool. They make sure that that a kind of assurance is given to the banks and investors, guys. It's actually a reassurance they give, I can tell you, that it is safe to trade in that currency. Not everybody will have the confidence now. So being the most important monetary policy tool, they'll say, chalo, it is okay. You can have a confidence over here to trade in this particular currency. And, they also confirm that the central banks will not let the supply of the currency dry up. They give some sort of guarantee. Okay, this will still be there without, without completely taking it off. Clear? And liquidity. Liquidity means the money supply. So the purpose of such kind of swap line is to make sure that the liquidity, money supply and the currency are available for the central banks. Okay, be it Indian rupees or US dollar currency, whatever. The currency available for central banks to lend to their private banks. Okay, whatever. The purpose of that is to make sure that they have the liquidity, so you'll be able to maintain the reserve requirement. Your CRR, as far as the country India is concerned, cash reserve ratio, then SLR, such a liquid ratio. All those are the reserve requirements. Clear? And always money supply liquidity is very important. Why, you tell me? See, only if that is there, you'll be able to keep the financial market functioning so smoothly even during crisis, especially in the context of COVID-19 pandemic, because that not only affected our country India, but the entire globe, I can tell you. Clear? That's all. We are done with the current affairs for the month of February 2021. So here we go. The next important current affairs of March 2021 is only two important topics are there. One from Indian Express I took and one from Hindu. 3rd of March and 19th of March. The other things were quite, easier. Nothing much was there. It was basically, I think March month had a lot of current affairs from IR, International Relations and Governance and all. Okay. So here we go. It was PLI. The PLI scheme, Production Linked Incentive Scheme, a very, very important hit list topic. I have been telling you this before as well. Hit list topic for economics. Okay. So the PLI scheme for telecom sector, I've taught you this also. So let's have a quick look into what that is all about, followed by the appropriation bill. So basically people think the appropriation bill will come in polity or governance, but appropriation bill is a part of budget, which comes in economics. So mixture of polity plus economic current affairs will come in this. Clear? And this I have taken from Indian Express, guys. Clear? So you will have only 2 topics for the month of March, not more than that. You may see different topics, but that is not that important, guys. Let's study what is important. That is enough. So here we go. The very first topic for the month of March 2020 economic current affairs is the production linked incentive scheme for the telecom sector. So what happened was, like, the Union Cabinet, they approved the PLI scheme for the telecom sector, and the outlay was, or let's say the expenditure was 12,195 crores for a period of 5 years. Oh my goodness, that is indeed a huge amount. And you know, the telecom sectors, come on, they're booming up these days and they are very, very important as a whole. That is understandable. So keeping this particular point in mind, this is the reason why we are studying this particular topic. Let's quickly have a look into what is this point all about. Why do you think such kind of production linked incentive scheme is very important? Before that, you should know what is a PLI scheme. So quickly tell me what is PLI, my young officers. I've taught you many a times. Production linked incentive scheme. What is that? Quick, quick. Static portion is also kabhi kabhi important, my young officers. People are thinking what you should say. Is it so? I have taught you the PLI for textile sector. Remember? PLI for pharmaceutical sector, PLI for automobiles, PLI for textile. All these are current affairs only. That is September 2021 current affairs is PLI for textile. I've taught you in the editorial classes. Pata nahi kya hai, whether people have remembered or not. Anyways. So what is the PLI scheme, guys? Tell me what is the PLI scheme? See, in order to boost up or increase the domestic manufacturing and production and to reduce the import bills, okay, the Union government in the year 2020, they introduced a scheme called as PLI scheme. And the aim of this was nothing but they want to give all the companies a lot of incentives on incremental sales from products manufactured in the domestic or within the country units, guys. So apart from inviting the foreign companies to set shops in our country, India, this production linked incentive scheme also encourage all the local or domestic companies. So automatically what happens, we are improving our country India's local production. Our resources have been utilized to the fullest. Automatically we'll reach a point where we'll start exporting the things which we actually imported. So we're becoming self-reliant. Now this is also in lieu or line with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, the 20 lakh crore economic stimulus package, or let's say the self-reliant India mission. Don't you think so? Yes. We can even associate this with Make in India program also. So multiple current affairs are connected to this simple, or let's say the most hitless topic called as production linked incentive scheme. Clear? And this is not just for the telecom or let's say for one particular sector. Initially, when PLI was put forward, what they'll do is they'll give some sort of cash incentive. For example, if I want to start an industry or a kind of startup under the PLI scheme, means then I'll be given a cash subsidy incentive. So it's motivating people to start up more. Don't you think so? So this scheme has been approved for so many sectors, including electronic products, IT hardware, pharmaceuticals, automobile and components, etc. And currently for the telecom and textile also, I repeat, telecom and textile also, production linked incentive scheme has been approved. Clear? So please make a note of that as well. So actually the production linked incentive scheme is basically a kind of subsidy. You can write it. It is a kind of subsidy to the sector, whichever sector it is. Clear? So it's a direct payment that the government is making from the budget to the goods made in a country India. So whatever goods is made in a country India, to support that, a directly payment is made from the budget. And see, let's say for example, the amount given for the automobile will be different from the textile or let's say telecom sector. So amount varies from sector to sector. And it is based on the disadvantage or let's say the disability faced by one particular sector, the budget has been given. Clear? So don't you think so, guys? Be it any sector, such kind of PLI thing is leading to a lot of importance with regard to increasing employment opportunities, increasing in, investments and stuffs like that. Yes, it is, no doubt in that. Hannah, for food products, the Ministry of Food and Processing Industries come. For electronic, the Ministry of Electronics and IT will come up. For other schemes accordingly. Clear? Now, as per November 2021 data, that is last month's data, I can tell you that 13 sectors, I repeat, initially only 2 to 3 sectors were there, but as per November 2021 data, 13 sectors are coming under PLI. Which are they? Pharmaceuticals or mobile phones, with specialty steel, auto components, technical textiles, telecom, then your electronic products, components, etc. Clear? Fine. So this is very, very important, my young officers. So please keep a check on it. Now, since this particular topic is talking about the PLI scheme for telecom sectors, don't you think so, guys? It's quite important. This is actually also push for Make in India program, guys. No doubt in that. Now, with regard to the telecom or the exclusively the telephone sector, I can tell you that this particular scheme, as I told you, it's for the domestic manufacturing for telecom and networking products like switches, routers, the 4G or 5G radio access network, then the wireless equipment and other IoT, Internet of Things access device and all. So all the technological stuff now we have to manufacture in our country, India. So this comes under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, self-reliant or self-independent India Commission, where we are doing it by ourselves. And by April 2021, this is operationalized. Clear? Now, if you want to be a part of this particular scheme, what you should do? Production incentive scheme exclusively for, let's say, telecom sector or let's say any sector. So basically, the eligibility for the PLI scheme is it is subject to some, or let's say subject to achieving a minimum threshold of the cumulative incremental investment. And there should be an incremental increase sales of manufactured goods. Then that is one eligibility. And now, next is, if you see the year 2019-2020, that will be taken as a base year for the calculation or computation of all the cumulative incremental sales of all the manufactured goods net of taxes. Clear? That's how you can be eligible for the PLI scheme. But the incentive you get is pretty more attractive here, as I told you. The incentive is even more greater. For example, investor. Let's say, for example, I'm an investor. I'm qualifying for this particular PLI scheme, production incentive scheme. Okay. Now, the incentive I'll get will be 20 times the minimum investment threshold. So automatically, it is enabling us to utilize the unused capacity. It's like offering more and incentivizing the person to do it at a very higher efficiency level. And for all the startup, that is micro, small, medium enterprises, there is a huge higher incentive. Let me tell you that. For the MSME, that is micro, small, medium enterprises, the minimum investment threshold is, let's say, 10 crore. Whereas for others, it is 100 crore. And for MSME, a 1% higher incentive is also proposed for the first 3 years. Why? Encouraging startup, self-employments. Then young people, rural population, employment issues, all these things can be solved up. You understand, this is how it works, guys. Such kind of scheme. Clear? So the government is not foolish here. They're very smart indeed, I can tell you. From one thing you see, tuck, now let's say fatafat, how they're kind of getting the things connected. So this makes a lot of sense, don't you think so? So a lot of people, we know that they belong to the MSME sector, or let's say they belong to they are a startup, or they are in the small scale perspective. So such kind of production linked incentive scheme is actually giving them a lot of incentive, that too in the cash base itself. So they will definitely come under that. They would love to go under that because they're getting a better incentive over there. Clear? Yes, Diru Rudach, ma'am, you will cover full 1 year current affairs in this very lecture only. Of course, yes. That is why it is called as marathon series, Diru. That's the beauty of our class. Short, sweet, and to the point manner, 360-degree coverage of the entire thing, just like that. And you never even know that so many topics have got inside your brain. So you never feel the burden. Three and a half hours with me, you get everything done. That's how it works. Okay. Always my marathon series will be like that, which is a kind of, smart work strategy. See, as far as UPSC is concerned, guys, hard work doesn't benefit you exclusively. It's always a smart work that actually helps you. Let me tell you that. So this kind of smart work should be done to boost up your knowledge, to save your time, to ease your preparations, and to make sure that you are in the right track of preparing what is required. Clear? Yes, Dhiru, will you take other marathon? Yes, I do take every time marathon. In a month, at least 2 marathons I take. I did top environmental current affairs 1 marathon in this month. Previously, I've taken different topics, money, all the important topics like that. You can just go through the top or the highly watched marathons in this YouTube channel is my marathons. You can just go through that. It will be put up in the playlist also. Yes, remember investment threshold means investment capacity or limit. That the ceiling is there. It's called as investment threshold. Is it clear, Imao? Ashutosh, PDF will be provided, but the thing is, in the plus class in the dashboard, all the PDFs are provided regularly. That's why I keep telling you, come for the plus classes. But don't worry, in the Telegram I'll give you a word format of this. Okay. And one of my book is also coming up, short books, which talks about 1 year complete economy, current affairs, hit list topics like that. So you can, it is free of cost, you can even access that. Now, back to the topic of discussion. Why do you think such kind of production linked incentive scheme is important for the telecom sector? Now, through this particular scheme, I can tell you that they are expected to lead an incremental production of about, let's say, 2.4 lakh crore, with exports of about 2 lakh crore over 5 years, and they'll be able to bring a lot of investments of more than 3,000 crore. You see how the profit is coming up, and at the same time, a lot of employment opportunities, direct as well as indirect, can be generated. Like 40,000, guys, the number is not a small one. 40,000 direct and indirect employment opportunities can be created through the production incentive scheme. And at the same time, they'll be able to generate a tax revenue for the government of, let's say, 17,000 crore exclusively from the telecom equipment manufacturing. So now the potential is huge. So don't you think you have to focus on the telecom sector also? Yes, that's why the government has brought PLI on the telecom. And through the scheme, it is said that the importance is that it will enable our country, India, to move towards self-reliance. What I've told you, Atmanirbhar Bharat, connect that point to this. And currently, if you see, what we are importing, our country, India, we're importing 80% of our telecom, guys, and wireless network equipment. Is it required for us to pay more and get it like that? No. We need to do import substitution by developing the same in our own country with required technology and fund and other resources. because that is going to give us a lot of benefit with regard to employment, with regard to tax revenue, with regard to profits. So what else you need? And most importantly, self-reliance, Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, and also contributing to the next important objective called as Make in India. You see multiple current affairs or related points are connected here. So please connect all those. Yes, Akshat and Kareem, good afternoon, all of you. That's an interesting thing. So now don't you think so? Production and incentive scheme for telecom is worth enough? Because point number 2 and 3 is actually suggesting you the same as a whole. So that's it, my young officers. Moving on to the next topic of discussion, the Appropriation Bill from the month of March 2021. So what happened was, like, recently, the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha actually cleared the bill called as Appropriation Bill. And when they cleared the bill, what happened? They were allowing the central government to draw the funds from what is called as CFI, Consolidated Fund of India. Okay, from the Consolidated Fund of India, they were able to draw funds. For that, Appropriation Bill has to be passed by the central government. So Lok Sabha cleared the bill and central government is able to take funds from the CFI. So let's quickly, have a look into what that is all about. For that, before knowing much about this particular current affairs stuff, you have to know what is an appropriation bill and what is a CFI. That is Consolidated Fund of India. So basically, Consolidated Fund of India is nothing but it's a fund. It consists of all the revenues of the government from all the sources. It's called as a treasure or the reservoir of government of India. Only with the proper passing of the bills in the parliament and the permission of the prior approval, the government can actually take funds from that particular CFI for all the expenditure activities. So the entire revenue of the government from all the sources do come under the CFI, called as Consolidated Fund of India. Clear? An appropriation bill is a bill which has to be passed to get the funds released from that fund. Only then the government can utilize that for all the expenditure activities. So now, keeping these two things in mind, the Lok Sabha, they cleared the appropriation bill, due to which the central government was able to withdraw the funds from the CFI for all the expenditure activities. So to add a little more information with regard to what is your appropriation bill is, this particular bill, okay, for example, if this appropriation bill is passed, it is giving the power to the government to withdraw, collect the funds from what? The Consolidated Fund of India. So they'll be able to meet all the expenditure or expenses during the financial year. Let's say for this 2021 means for that particular year. And as per Article 114 of the Constitution, I can tell you the government can actually withdraw money from the CFI only after receiving approval from the parliament. The parliament has to give an approval. Okay, the money can be taken for the development of road or rail or whatever from the CFI, but approval is required because these are money which is coming from the public or the people into the government, guys. So just like that, the government can't take and do things like that. There has to be proper stuff like that, right? And another important point is you cannot take a fund and utilize for some other purpose. The amount withdrawn must be used to meet the current expenditure during the particular financial year. So the current financial year is 2020-21. So for the current expenditure, you have to withdraw the money and you can utilize the same. Clear? Now, what is the procedure, guys? What is the procedure? So is there anybody who doesn't know what is an appropriation bill? Is there anybody? I hope it is clear. If you want to withdraw the money from the CFI called as Consolidated Fund of India, which is a reservoir for all the funds collected by the government through taxation, then a bill has to be passed. An approval has to be given by the parliament through a bill. That's called as appropriation bill. If that is passed, only government can withdraw funds from that particular CFI to carry forward the expenditure activity. As simple as that. So don't confuse yourself and make sure that you understand. Clear? Perfect. Now, what is the procedure, guys, that has been followed? Now, you have your Lok Sabha, you have your Rajya Sabha. Now, initially, in the two houses of parliament, upper house and lower house, this appropriation bill, they'll be initially introduced where Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, of course Lok Sabha. And that will be done after discussions on budget proposals and on demand for grants. That is, there is a procedure, guys. When I've taught you the budget classes, you remember I've taught you many times in the special classes also, what are the steps or the procedures for passing a budget. When budget is released, everybody by hearts or they know, okay, this particular amount was put for this particular sector, or a new scheme has been brought in for agriculture or for industrial sector. but people never know how practically the process of budget is done. There is something called as preparation stage, then execution or legislation stage, implementation stage, and then parliamentary control over finance. There are 4 different steps to be followed. Because tomorrow when you become IAS officers, what if you put in any of these committees or any of these areas? Practically, you should know how it works. You understand? And now appropriation bill also comes under that. I've taught all this to you. So now the procedure is that initially in the Lok Sabha, they'll introduce it. And now, if at all a bill is not passed in the parliament, if there is a defeat of an appropriation bill in a parliamentary vote, come on, then that will lead to what? Resignation of a government or a general election. Only if the appropriation bill is being passed by the Lok Sabha, then to the next house of the parliament, that is Rajya Sabha, it will be sent. That is how it is, functioning. And now, what is the power of Rajya Sabha, guys, once the appropriation bill is done? This Rajya Sabha, they'll have the power to recommend any changes or amendments in the bill, whatever changes they want to do, but whatever. Though Rajya Sabha makes a lot of change also, it is up to the discretion of, or let's say prerogative of Lok Sabha, either to accept or reject the recommendations given by Rajya Sabha. But whatever, Rajya Sabha do have the right to make such sort of, suggestions or opinions I can tell you, or amendments I can tell you. And now, once it is sent back to Lok Sabha, from there again, this bill goes to the president. So after getting the approval or the assent from the president only, this particular bill becomes an appropriation. This particular appropriation bill becomes an appropriation act. So when the president's approval or signature is given, appropriation bill becomes an act. And one more thing, another interesting fact is the president has to sign. There is no other go for the president to say no to it. That is how the system has been made up. No other choice. Anyways, one of the most important unique feature. Yes, Akshat Krishna, what happened? So sad. Anyways, back to what I was telling you. So now one of the most important feature of the appropriation bill is what? The automatic repeal clause. Okay. Now, there is a clause called as automatic repeal clause where this appropriation, where the act gets repealed by itself after it meets a statutory purpose. Once the purpose is done, automatically the appropriation act again gets repealed by itself. It becomes bill again. You got the point. So that is something which is the unique feature or the characteristics of the bill called as appropriation bill. Is it very clear, all of you? And only if the appropriation bill is passed, come on, the government can withdraw money from the Consolidated Fund of India. Otherwise, they cannot even think of withdrawing the money. But however, this takes time and the government needs money to carry on the normal activities, right? So sometimes if there's immediate, the government has to go for some immediate expenses. Okay. Now there is another provision where since this CFI process takes time, the Constitution has authorized the Lok Sabha to make any grant in advance for a part of the financial year. So there is an alternative arrangement which can be done also. And such kind of alternative arrangement in emergencies, and that provision is called as vote on account. These are all static part which you should keep in mind. We have done this before as well, so make sure that you're quickly having a revision of the same. Clear? Good. And with regard to amendment, for example, no amendment, amendment means what? Changes, okay. No amendment or changes, they can be proposed to an appropriation bill, which has an effect of varying the amount or altering the destination of any grant. So now, in that case, decision of the Lok Sabha Speaker has to be taken into consideration. They will decide whether such kind of change or amendment is admissible or they are final. Otherwise, it cannot be done. That's how the procedure is being done. Now, many a times people get confused with what is appropriation bill and what is a finance bill. So let me quickly sort out the doubt of you people, the difference between appropriation bill and finance bill. Now, appropriation bill, appropriation bill, I told you, it consists of all the, if you want the money to be withdrawn, then this bill has to be passed. Now, finance bill is basically, it consists of the provisions on financing the expenditure of the government. That is, what are the provisions of financing? That is, with regard to the expenditure of the government, the various provisions. Okay, this particular amount for this particular sector, this particular amount for industry, etc., etc. What about appropriation, guys? See, appropriation bill, it talks or specifies the quantum, the quantity, and the purpose of withdrawing money. See, finance will tell you, okay, 10 crore for in the service sector, 5 crore for agriculture, 6 crore for industry. Whereas appropriation is the quantum and what is the purpose why you want to withdraw the money from the Consolidated Fund of India. You understand? But the next important thing is, be it finance bill, be it appropriation bill, both are classified under the category called as money bills. And they do not require the explicit consent of Rajya Sabha and all. It only Lok Sabha thing is required, but Rajya Sabha can give recommendations. But if Lok Sabha wants, they can take, otherwise no. Clear? So basically, Rajya Sabha, they'll discuss these bills and then they return them. That's what the normal procedure goes. And then the president signs it to pass the finance or the appropriation bill, to withdraw the money. Clear? To meet all the expenditure activities of the government. Clear? So what is a money bill? Finance and appropriation bill, I told you, they come under money bill. So what is a money bill basically? See, a normal bill is said to be a money bill only if it contains provisions related to taxation. What should be the amount of taxation? What should be the amount of change in taxation? Should you increase or decrease it, etc., etc. Then public debt, which means public borrowing of money by the government. Expenditure from or income or receipt from to the CFI of India, that is Consolidated Fund of India. That's what a money bill is all about. And sometimes there are few bills which contain few provisions that are incidental to these matters. Then also it can be called as money bills. Clear? So I've told you what is an appropriation bill, what is a finance bill, and when finance and appropriation come together, they're called as money bill, and what is a money bill also. So now whatever questions come from the static portion of this, you shouldn't be confused. And if you see in the year 2014, 15 and all, you got a lot of questions based on CFI, the funds of India. That is Consolidated Fund of India, then Contingency Fund of India, Public Accounts of India, CI, Control and Auto, CAG, Control and Auditor General of India, CAG and all. Many questions in MCQs has come. It is a hit list topic. I have done many sessions called as Fundamentals of Economy in the same topic as well. So make sure that you go through that. Clear? I've given an explanation as to what is CFI also. It was constituted under Article 266 of the Constitution of India. And what does the CFI consist of? All the revenues received by the central government. It could be way of taxes, direct tax and indirect taxes, and also any other non-tax revenue. Non-tax revenue means the income you receive through fees, fines, penalties and all. And it also consists of all the loans raised by the central by issue of public notifications, treasury bills, and also from foreign governments and other international institutions like IMF, World Bank and all, because money is coming up and you're storing it up. And also it consists of all the government expenditure which they have to incur from taking money from this particular Consolidated Fund of India. Clear? Except the emergency contingency fund of the public account, whatever other amount comes, that will be the amount that you will take out for the government expenditure will come under the Consolidated Fund of India. Clear? And you cannot withdraw money just like that without the authorization from the parliament. For that, appropriation bill has to be passed. This is how the CFI also works practically. And who does the auditing? The CAG, as I told you, the Control and Auditor General of India. They'll do the auditing of this fund and they'll report the relevant legislatures on the management. Clear? So all these are the hit list topic, guys. Please have a look into it. I've done the static portion also very clearly for all of you. Let's go to the month of April, my young officers. It's April. So April 1 starts with fooling, right? But do not worry, these articles are not fooling. Rather, it will cool your head or your brains with a lot of knowledge. Anyways. Is it very clear? Any doubt in the current affairs pertaining to the month of March? Quick. That's it. All clear, Ashutosh. Perfect. Yes, Ima, yes, Ramya. Okay. So here we go. April 2021 ka current affairs. The economy current affairs. Again, this is quite interesting because we have again another topic coming up of the same nature. PLI for textile sector. It is taken from down to earth. So just like a telecom, textile sector is also very important. So I've taken a topic from there. And also with regard to your Britain considering new digital currency Britcoin. It's not Bitcoin, it's Britcoin. Okay, because Britain is coming there. So that is taken from 22nd April, the Hindu newspaper, and the other one is 9th April. Again, only 2 articles. There were other articles also, guys, but we have done a lot on that. So repeating the same doesn't make a sense, and those things you will be able to understand better. But these are very hit list things which has a lot of connection with other relevant area as well. That's why I thought, chalo, I should take this. Yes, Tejas. Ma'am, continue from 2 hours. I don't understand. What are you trying to say, Tejas? You're asking, will this continue? Yeah, this will continue. We start at 11:30, right? 11:30, 12:30 to 1:30 to 2:30 to 3. Yeah, 3:30 it will be there. Why? You want a break? I'll give you a break when we are done with 6 months. Don't worry. When it is June, I'll give you a break. Okay. When we are dealing with after June, I'll give you a break. Don't worry. Break in the sense I'll kind of allow you to go drink whatever you want and come back. Your food, whatever. You actually, see, your videos are not visible. So you can actually have food also along with the classes. It doesn't make a lot of difference. Chalo, I'll give you 10 minutes ka break. Do not worry. Granted. Request granted. Okay, fine. So here we go. Let's quickly have a look into the Britain considering new digital currency, Britcoin. That's interesting, Naya. Britcoin. Let's see what that is all about. Why this particular topic was in use? Again, in the context of cryptocurrencies and stuff, solely this has been brought in. So now the British authorities, okay, they are exploring the possibility of creating a central bank digital currencies. And that particular currency, they want to call it as Britcoin. Now, we know something called as cryptocurrency. Have you heard this before, my young officers? Is Bitcoin? I think I've not taught you in the current affairs. Maybe in the plus class I've taught, not in free class. Have you studied what is Bitcoin before? See, you all know cryptocurrencies, but another alternative to cryptocurrency should also be there. Now, that is what Britain did by bringing such kind of Bitcoin out there. Like a Britannia biscuit, now this is a Bitcoin, not a biscuit. Yeah, it's a Bitcoin. Oh, cha. Ima is saying no, it's a new topic. Good. I know a lot of people do not have heard because people ignore such kind of topics. But it's always important that you are having a look into it, being a UPSC aspirant. Okay, here we go. Now, this Bitcoin is basically a step towards future-proofing pound sterling, the currency of UK, guys, against cryptocurrency. Something against cryptocurrency by the UK is Bitcoin. And also for improving the payment system of the Central Bank of UK only with regard to the, what do you say? The with regard to the crypto, against that only the so-called Bitcoin was brought in. Clear? So let's quickly have a look into what this is all about. You should know what is a Bitcoin. Like a Britannia biscuit, you should know what is a Bitcoin, है ना? Brit का coin, है ना? Yes. So something against cryptocurrencies was Bitcoin brought in by British. So what is it all about? Now, because of this so-called pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, what happened? The cash payments were declining in the country. Not only in UK, guys, the entire globe, I can tell you. And partly one of the reason was pandemic. So now what happened? Keeping that in mind, the Bank of England, the Central Bank of England and the Treasury, they were considering creating something called as digital currency because cash payments were declining. So thus this digital currency, if passed, they would exit alongside cash and bank deposit. And now when that happens, it will be acting as a new form of money, which can be used by the households and business in England, guys. That is, instead of because the declining cash payments in the country, though they have the other, transactions also, exclusively a digital currency called as Bitcoin, because it's with Britain, that was considered. So again, onwards, the households and the business in England, the people, they'll be able to use this. That's what they said. If this is passed, the so-called digital currency called as Bitcoin is passed. Yes, Ramya? It's not Bitcoin. It is Brit. B-R-I-T. Bitcoin. That's why I said Britannia biscuit and Bitcoin. 2 to 3 on your heads now. Don't think about bit and sit there. It's not bitting, it's Brit. Okay? Now, this particular Bitcoin by the UK, it is said that they'll also sit at the interference between the cash and private payment system. And it is not necessary that it should be based on a distributed ledger technology like a cryptocurrency and all. That is why it is said that it is something different from the cryptocurrency because cryptocurrency do require a ledger technology, but this doesn't require that. So that is the difference of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Clear? And now the whole point of this is not for the entire economy, or let's say entire world as whole. Rather, it's pertaining to the economy of England. And this Bitcoin will be tied to the value of pound. So they'll be able to eliminate holding an asset to derive the profit and all. So only in the pound sterling you can hold it. Clear? And it is said that this will actually have a greater economic impact in a positive way, guys, in the form of wider investments in the UK technological sector, then lower transaction costs for international business. So it's kind of boosting up the economy of Britain as a whole. Don't you think so? And for example, if this is passed, okay, if at all this is passed, then the next thing is this digital currency of Britain called as Bitcoin. They say if it is passed, then this will be different in a key sense, because they are issued by state authorities, not by any other people. That's again the next of it. Now currently, if you see, only the Bahamas has such a currency. Though China is trailing in several cities, also only Bahamas has such a digital currency, I can tell you. So Britain also want to bring it out, the Brit coins out there in terms of pound sterling. Clear? മനസ്സിലായോ കുട്ടികളെ? Sometimes now you have to study few things which is out of the box also. Now, having understood the current affairs of this, it's time for us to have a look into what is this digital currency all about. We all know digital means online. You may get confused. See, crypto is also digital currency. Bitcoin is also digital currency. Then what is this digital currency we're mentioning here? People tend to get confused. So let me quickly let you know what is digital currency in another 30 to 40 seconds in 3 to 4 points. It's a payment method which is in electronic form, and we cannot see or touch. We cannot see. We cannot touch or see them. Rather, we can feel it. So they are non tangible. And now, you through this online or digital currency, you can it can be transferred between entities or users with the help of technology, so that you can use a smartphone, your computers, internet and all. Though they are similar to physical currency also, this digital money, you can have borderless transfer of ownership from one country to another, fatafat instantaneous transactions you can have. And this digital currency is also known as digital money and cyber cash. For example, cryptocurrency. Clear? So in 30 seconds, we are done with what is digital currency. As simple as that. Clear? Nothing more is required, guys. This is perfectly fine. See, I took only 30 seconds here, which means in 30 seconds, your brains are also working faster and you're getting all these things into your brains. So what are the keyword? Payment method, electronic form, end-to-end user transactions, and using technology like computer, internet, smartphone, called as digital money and cyber cash, which is example is cryptocurrency. Clear? As simple as that. Now, what is CBDC, guys? There is something called as central bank digital currency. Now, a central bank, let's say for example, central bank for a country, it is RBI. For US, it is Federal Reserve Bank. For England, it is Bank of England and all, right? Now, a central bank digital currency, basically what they do is they will use electronic record, or let's say digital token. Why? Using that, we'll be able to represent the virtual or the online form of fiat currency of one particular country or a region, I can tell you. And what is a fiat currency, by the way? What is fiat currency? Okay, let's quickly have a look into it. It is a government issued currency. That is, government is issuing it. But the whole point is it's not backed by a physical commodity like gold or silver, but rather by the government that issued it. The government is backing it without any physical commodity like gold or silver backup. So now a central bank digital currency, they are centralized, which means it is issued and regulated by the competent monetary authority of the country. As far as the country India is concerned, it will be RBI, because they are the monetary authority. You understand? So now each unit, okay, of this so-called CBDC, they will act as a secure digital instrument equivalent to a paper bill. And then you can use that as a mode of payment or store of value, and official unit of account, etc., etc. This is called a CBDC in simple terms. Clear? Tejas, not convertible, rather government issued currency, which cannot have any sort of physical backing up of with the commodities like gold and silver. That is your fiat currency. I've given it here. You can see. Did you understand what is CBDC in simple terms, all of you? I don't want to rush up with the topic because these are topics which will take a little time to get into your brains. So we'll go like this. Don't worry. Is it very clear, all of you? Now, do you think such kind of CBDC, central bank, digital currency is benefiting all of us, or is there some sort of benefit out of it? Of course, yeah, there should be a lot of benefit. So let's have a quick look into what are the benefits of CBDC. Okay. Now, point number one is it aims to bring what? The best of both worlds. What is it? Best of both worlds? Both world is what? This world and after world? No. We are talking about the convenience and security. The convenience and security of what? The digital form or online form like cryptocurrencies and the regulated reserved backed money circulation of the conventional or traditional banking system. You have to kind of bring the best of both worlds, online as well as offline. That's the whole point here. So here we are talking about the convenience and security of the digital form, the crypto, and the other is the reserved backed money, which is in circulation. Clear? Next is the new forms of digital money that could have a parallel boost to the vital lifeline, especially it can benefit the poor and developing economy. I can tell you, especially a country India can also benefit out of it. That's what they're trying to tell. And it is said that they'll ensure people are protected from financial instability caused due to the failure of private payment system. At the same time, central bank or digital currency will enable the bank to retain control over monetary policy against the remote possibility that payments might migrate into cryptocurrencies. Clear? This is how it works. But don't you think so? There are a few important, points to be noted in the same regard. See, everything has a good and a bad side. So does the CBDC as well, the central bank digital currency. So now, what are the risks associated, guys? There is a need to enforce strict compliance of KYC. You know, when you go to a bank, when you open a bank account, there is something called as KYC. What is it? Know your customer, filling up all your details and proofs and other stuff. So now it's said that for such kind of stuff, there is a need to enforce strict compliance of KYC norms. Why? Why do you want to do that? So we'll be able to prevent the currencies used for terror financing or money laundering, because terrorist financing and money laundering are the most important activities which has to be completely thrashed or eliminated. You cannot even think of promoting it, right? So basically, to prevent that, only KYC has been the strict compliance of that has been done. But many a time people also does kallatram with this KYC also, guys. But whatever, and thus the existence of digital money could undermine the health of commercial bank. Why? Because they're removing deposits on which they primarily rely for income. Clear? Now, this is very important, guys. What is the stand of a country, India, on digital currency? See, I've been telling you about Bitcoin, about Britain, then the other perspective. But our country, India's stand on digital currency is something to be understood. If you see, even till today, our country, India, okay, the central bank of our country, India, RBI, they have considered cryptocurrency as a poor unit of account. And they are also demonstrated by their frequent and high fluctuation value. We don't trust in cryptocurrency. And that too, when people started investing, they understood that it is an illegal way of investment, they said. Then they said it's a legal way, and a lot of private cryptocurrencies were banned by the government because of so many collaterals was found out. But the stand that a country India is having on digital currency is something that we are considered cryptocurrencies as a poor unit, no doubt in that, because of too much of fluctuations they have. And according to RBI, the reason why they did that is because it has so many risks, including anti-money laundering, terrorist financing concerns, and all. So how can you consider that them to be having a legal, status or security status? No, you cannot. And thus, though this is the case also, it is considering developing a sovereign digital currency when time is appropriate. That is also another important point to be understood. Clear? That is enough. Nothing much is required. This is what you should understand from this particular topic. Now, moving on to the next topic from the month of April 2021 current affairs is PLI for textile. So already I have told you what is PLI. Basically, to boost up the domestic manufacturing sector, contributing to our country India's Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, the self-independent mission, etc., etc. PLI is brought in. So for multiple sectors, this particular cash incentive has been given. So now we have discussed about the telecom sector. Now the Union Cabinet also approved PLI for which sector? Textile sector. So textile is one of the most important sectors for our country India, especially the cotton sector and all. A lot of people, are employed in that. So such kind of PLI scheme for textile sector will be a huge, development for us. Don't you think so? So keeping that in mind, the Union Cabinet, they approved PLI for what? For the textile sector. And it is said that this PLI scheme, okay, for textile is a part of the overall announcement of the PLI scheme of 13 sectors, which was made during the announcement of the budget of 21-22. And the outlay expenditure was, let's say, 1.97 lakh crore. And this production linked incentive scheme for textiles along with ROS-CTL, RODTEP and other measures of government in the sector is also important because they're providing raw material at a very, very competitive price, skill development is taking place and stuff like that. Clear? So since 2020, we have the PLI scheme. And now every now and then they're kind of improvising or promoting the growth of this PLI sector to various important sectors of our country, India. And now from telecom to textile, it has come up. The same thing, it will be put here. You can just go through. Now, having understood what is PLI, because a couple of other slides before, when we discussed the month of March current affairs, I told you what is PLI, right? So let's focus only on the PLI for textile sector here. What is the feature, guys? The aim is to promote the production of high value MMF. What is MMF? Man-made fiber, fabrics, garments, and technical textiles. Clear? So they want to promote the production of high value man-made fiber. And second is the incentives worth 10,000 crore will be provided on production to the sector for a period of 5 years. So don't you think so? People are employed in this was having a great incentive structure and a booster for them to work as well. And they will not provide incentive just like that. To all the eligible producers, incentive will be given in two different phases, first and second. First is like, for example, any person or company, okay, who want to invest a minimum of, let's say, 300 crore in plant, machinery, equipment, and civil work to produce products, remember fabrics, they'll be eligible to participate. Second is, if you are willing to spend 100 crore, then under the same conditions you'll be eligible to apply and you'll be getting incentive. So first is 300 crore, second is 100 crore. This is the criteria. Clear? For you to be eligible for what? For the incentive. So what are the benefits, guys? So just by putting up the production linked incentive scheme, okay, in the textile sector, what do you think could be the benefit? Of course, a lot of people are put up in this particular sector. So there'll be a huge increase in what? Employment, at the same time investment. When investment takes place, automatically employment will also come up. So a fresh investment of more than 19,000 crore, giving a cumulative turnover of profit of 3 lakh crore, thereby creating additional job or employment opportunities of more than 7.5 lakh job in this sector. Come on. That is indeed the expected benefits and indeed the highlighted benefits of PLI scheme for textile sector. And the most interesting thing is the textile industry predominantly employs women. Therefore, empowerment of women is also happening through this particular scheme indirectly, and also increasing the participation where in the formal economy. So you see multiple other concepts are also related to this particular topic. Clear? How interesting, Hannah? One topic is leading to so many other topics as a whole. Clear? Perfect. Next is priority to backward areas. So now, compared to the telecom and all, if you see, the production linked incentive for the textile sector, in addition, they give a lot of importance or priority for investments in the aspirational district, tier 3, tier 4 towns and rural areas. And because of this priority, I can tell you that the industry will be incentivized to move to vulnerable or backward areas. So what happens? Rural area or the backward area is getting developed. Automatically, infrastructure is happening over there. So now, the Ministry of Rural Development's objective of developing the rural area or the backward area is also happening simultaneously. That's the biggest advantage, you understand? And thus, it is said that since priority is given to the vulnerable or the backward area, this scheme will positively impact few of the important states like Gujarat, UP, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha. Because all these places you can see a huge, potential for the development of textile sectors. And yes, it is there. And also with regard to employment also. And now, talking about the textile sector, it's very, very important for you to understand what is textile industry all about for our country, India. Why is the PLI scheme put up for that? The production linked incentive scheme is put for textile sector because there are huge potential out of it. Simply the government will not extend it, right? So here we go. Be it textile or be it government industry. Are they capital or labor intensive? Of course, they are labor intensive sector. More of labor is required to be employed there, which means 45 million people in India are being employed. And they are second to agriculture sector in terms of employment. After agriculture, a lot of people gets employed in this allied activity called as textile. And I can tell you it is one of the oldest industries in an economy. And they are a storehouse and carrier of all the traditional skills, heritage, and culture. So your kaitari, your handloom, all these things do come under that. Don't you think so? Yes, very much. Very much it do come under that. Clear? Yes? All clear? Perfect. So don't you think so, guys? Having such an important, segment to be understood, this particular sector is very, very important. So the government extending the production incentive scheme and incentivizing this particular sector called sector list makes a lot of sense because you see the benefit is n number. And now you can divide this handloom, guys, sorry, the textile into two segments because it is one of the oldest industries in Indian economy, I said. Now, the two different segments in which you can divide them is one is unorganized sector. Okay. The informal of the unorganized sector is small scale and they use all the traditional uses like handloom, the handmade saris, then handicraft, sericulture, production of silk and all. Now, in this handloom, connect this with, the handloom sector and its importance and the development of cottage industries, cottage and small scale. And sericulture, Assam, the northeast states, because Mugi is silk. Mugi is silk, the Ahimsa or the non-violence ka silk, and Eri silk. These are the important another hit list topic which I've taught you already in current affairs. Remember, in economy PT 365 class, I've taught you this. I don't want to repeat the same thing again. That doesn't make a sense. That is why I didn't do that. Yes, Tafi, good afternoon. After a long time, where were you, girl? എവിടെ പോയിരുന്നു? Now, in this textile, one is this segment. And you can give the example of Kanchipuram saris and all because they're silk saris, na, that all comes under the unorganized sector. Then the organized means they use modern machinery and techniques and they consist of spinning, apparel, and garment segment and all. So this is the two different segments in the textile industry, and we have to give more focus to the first one. Of course, second one it is important, but first one requires a lot of push up. Clear? And this is taken from the PIB, Press Information Bureau. That's it. We are done with the current affairs for the month of April 2021. Here we have the next month, the blossom, the blooming or the blossom month, I can tell you, the month of May 2021. Yes? All ready? You should be. So let's welcome the month of May with another interesting current affairs out there. Again, we have another two interesting topics, guys. One from the Hindu newspaper and one from the PIB. One is called as T+1 settlement system for shares, which is put forward by the stock market regulator for our country, India, that is SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India. And second is Niti Aayog, the Independent Think Tank of India, ka report for a digitally inclusive Bharat. Did you study these two things? Tell me honestly. I know the other topics you would have studied, but these two topics in special, do you remember something when you see this? Yes or no? Be honest. People are thinking. You have done it. Very good. I'm happy that you're so good in your current affairs memory. That's a great goal for all of you. So some are saying no. Chalo. No issues. So here we are, guys, with the next article or the next topic of the day from Economy Current Affairs for the month of May. Okay. Now, T+1 settlement. It is not the other T, guys. This is T+1 settlement system for shares by SEBI. Now, recently, the Securities Exchange Board of India, why you study this is because they allowed stock exchange to start the T+1 system. That's a system called as T+1. And that is an option in place of T+2 for completion of share transaction. You should know what is T+1 and T+2 for understanding this current affairs, which I'll tell you, do not worry. So basically, SEBI wanted to allow the stock exchange, guys, to start with T+1 system as an option in place of T+2. So only then they'll be able to complete these share transactions properly, they said. And now this T+1 settlement system was introduced by SEBI as an optional basis. So they'll be able to enhance more of money supply liquidity. Clear? So now, and that is the reason this was actually put across by SEBI. So talking about SEBI, we all know that what the Securities Exchange Board of India, they are a statutory body. Statutory body is a body which has some sort of legal powers on behalf of government. They are having some legal authority power. So since 1992, you have the SEBI in accordance with the provisions of the SEBI Act of 92. Clear? So now talking about this particular T+1 and T+2 is, if for example, if one second, for example, if the stock exchange is opting for a settlement called as T+1 settlement cycle for a scrip, then they'll have to compulsorily continue it with for a minimum of 6 months. So now for you to know what is T+1 and T+2, let me quickly tell you what that is. Anybody know what is T+1? What is T+1 settlement? Okay, listen to this very carefully. T+1 is what you know. Am I audible and visible to you people? Okay, perfect. So what is T+1 settlement system, guys? Basically, okay, people are saying, Tejas is saying less than 24 hours. Okay, done. Let me tell you what that is. So basically, this is a settlement kind of system and it's a settlement cycle. Okay, this settlement cycle, they'll represent a kind of time period. So this T plus is time period. Okay, so the settlement system is nothing but a cycle which represents the time period within which the particular stock exchange have to settle the security transaction. So T+1 means settlements which has to be cleared within 1 day. I repeat, within 1 day of the actual transactions taking place. T+1 is nothing but you have to settle the kind of exchange, or let's say the kind of stock exchange. Now you have to settle that within 1 day of the actual transactions taking place. Clear? And now the next thing is SEBI has come up with a proposal to change the trade settlement cycle to T+1, which means that the shares will now be transferred in T+24 hours. Within 1 day, 24 hours, I can tell you. And SEBI has taken this particular T+1 move not alone. They have consulted with many market infrastructure, I can tell you. Institutions like stock exchange, depositors, clearing corporations and all. And that's how they brought this so-called stuff out there. Clear? Is it very clear what is T+1 settlement? Now, keeping this in mind for a very short period of time, they want to settle that, do the settlements of stock exchange within 24 hours. It is said that this particular, T+1 will make it more convenient compared to T+2 because it will take a long time. You understand? Because it's a very short period in a T+1 and T+1 versus T+2 settlement. For example, okay. In T+2, you know what is a T+2 settlement? I told you what is T+1. Both are settlements only. What is T+2? What is T+2? It's plus 2 days. T+1 is 24 hours and the T+2 is doing the settlement in the matter of 2 days. And that is a cycle that you again follow in the stock market, I can tell you. That is, it will take 2 days for a trade life cycle to be completed. Simple as that. Clear? Whereas T+1 means in a single day you do that. Even more a short span of time is the whole idea here. Clear? Yes, Priya, very good. Yes, there is 2 days. Very good, very good. So now T+1 versus T+2. Which one do you think should be better, T+2 or T+1? Now SEBI said T+1 is more important. So now, for example, if an investor, okay, in T+2, if an investor is selling the share, now the share of the settlement of the trade will in 2 working days. And for example, if I am the broker or you are the broker who are handling the trade, they'll get the money on the 3rd day only. But it will credit the amount the investor's account only by the 4th day. You see, almost a week is coming there. So now what is happening from the point of view of the investor? In effect, the investor will get the money only after 3 days, not even in the second, 3rd day as a whole. Whereas in T+1, settlement takes place in 1 working day, 24 hours, and investor get the money the same day. So which is better, T+1 or T+2? T+1 now, because investors getting on the same day. Yes, very good, Priya. Yeah, they're getting on the same day. So thus the need of SEBI to move to T+1 will not require also large operational or technical charges, guys. Okay, or it will not cause any sort of fragmentation and risk to the core clearance and all. It's quite more simplified. That is why over T+1, over T+2, the T+1 settlement is been approved by the SEBI. Clear? Did you understand what is T+1 and T+2? It's very simple, guys. Something like maths, not T+1, T+2, T+3 and all, but very simple it is. If you understand the simple, technique of that, what is it all about? It becomes all the way easy for you to make a choice of yourself, which is the best, T+1 or T+2. These are all practical things, guys. Those are good in the stock marketing and all now. Will know all this better. This will help you in your stock trading also. Study like this instead of by hearting. As simple as that. Now, talking about the T+1 settlement. See, all of us came to a conclusion that the T+1 settlement is good because 24 hours you can get the settlement done. And the investor will get the money on the same day itself without much of ruskas and all. So now the settlement time is reduced. We all know that. Second is reduction in unsettled trade. You cannot see the number of outstanding unsettled trade at any instant. Fatafat, every kind of settlement or stock shares will be cleared off. Clear? That is the most important advantage of the T+1 settlement compared to T+2 settlement. And also systematic risk are reduced, and also the block capital reduction is also happening there. So when the settlement cycle is shortened, automatically the systematic risk will also be reduced. Simple as that. But there are a few concerns for the foreign investors, guys. That is, the foreign investors, they have concerns with regard to the operational issues that they face while operating from different geographies and all, like the time zones, the information flow process, the foreign exchange problem. In that case, maybe something can happen. That is only a concern or the disadvantage of T+1 settlements. Clear? Because it's in 1 day, everything has to be done. So that's something which, the time lag, and if things are proper, then it is okay. Otherwise, it can cause an issue with regard to the time frame. That's the only thing. So this is what you should study with regard to this particular topic. Clear? Very simple, guys. The next important topic is Niti Aayog's report for a digitally inclusive Bharat, the current affairs of the month of May 2021. Yes, Shalini, good evening, good afternoon. So now what happened was, like the independent think tank of government of Niti Aayog, okay, along with MasterCard, what did they do? They released a report. They have released a report titled Connected Commerce, creating a roadmap for a digitally inclusive Bharat. What does the report do, guys? The report released by Niti Aayog and MasterCard. They basically identify challenges in increasing or accelerating digital financial inclusion in our country, India. At the same time, they identify the areas, the challenges, and provide suitable suggestions or recommendations on making online or digital service more accessible to the entire 1.3 billion citizens for our country, India. Not just one part of the population, but rather everybody, including the rural part, I can tell you. Clear? So here we have the payment methods. Fatafat, like that we make it, right? The digital or the online things out there. But then if you see, there is some demand side gap as well. Now, digital financial, transactions or digital financial, index. Okay, the DF, financial inclusion. A lot of effort has to be put if you want to attain online or digital financial inclusion. See, to attain financial inclusion itself is a big task. Now, to make it online or digital, you have to make people digitally aware or educated regarding the same as well, how to operate it. So, a lot of effort has to be put to attain the digital financial, inclusion, and lot of success on the supply side of digital financial inclusion has been seen. That is, we have seen e-governance, electronic governance, the Gen Aadhaar mobile trinity for so many schemes, the GST, the DBT schemes of which is very beneficial for the rural people and all like that we have seen. But though that is the case also, many a times there have been a break in the digital financial flow. And that comes with the last mile, I can tell you, where account holders now mostly they withdraw cash for all the end use. So there are some problems like that also, which is preventing the DFI to attain the objective completely. That is digital financial inclusion objective completely. Now, at the same time, another important point to be understood is that there have been agri-techs which are unsuccessful. See, agriculture being the most important sector for country India, a lot of people are put up in that, we know that. And to attain a digital financial inclusion there becomes a big question mark. To attain the normal financial inclusion itself is a big question mark. Matlab, we are able to attain, but not completely. So making it DFI or digitally financial, yeah, that is to be considered. So if you see agriculture along with all the allied or linked activity, we know it provides livelihood to a large number of people. So, but the contribution towards GDP is very less. It's just 17 to 18% as per 2021 data. And lot of agriculture technology or agri-techs, they have not at all succeeded completely. I will not say no progress, but then let me tell you, not succeeded completely with regard to targets in digitalizing financial transactions for farmers, or let's say even enabling a formal flow of credit at very low rates of interest. All these things have not been able, not been put out. Clear? So can you say this has been a success? Definitely no. We are trying hard, simple as that. And MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises, they are quite important for us. So there is even the inability of MSME guys to access the formal finance. That is also there. So after agriculture, if you see, the MSME has been a key growth driver of Indian economy. As per the 2020 report, this category of MSME guys, they employed around 110 million people, or let's say 40% of India's non-farm workforce. Even they are not able to come under the financial inclusion, or let's say the DFI, digital financial inclusion, I can tell you. So that is again another important point. Then the trust and security in digital around online commerce. Because security reasons, security breaches for consumers and business, yeah, always security issues are there with regard to digital transactions, which prevents people from doing it, I can tell you. As per the Medici report of June 2020, they are telling that 40,000 cyber attacks targeted the IT infrastructure of the banking sector in India, due to which people are not willing to do that as well. So there are multiple disadvantages like that. Clear? But don't you think so? Taking into consideration the COVID-19 pandemic, we require, or there's an increased need for digitally accessible transit system for contactless payment for our country. India, of course, we need. So globally, the trend toward open loop transit system is increasing because of the pandemic as well. Because we need to have something called as contactless payments in our country, India. For that, this is even more required. So what you can do to overcome the disadvantage, the difficulties, my young officers, here we go. For market players, okay, it is very, very important that you're addressing the gap on the demand side. For that, what you can do, you can create user-friendly digital products and services. Let's say, for example, one of the most important example is that of FASTag. You're not having a cash transaction, it's just the scanning that happens when the vehicle is going in the toll, right? Next recommendation will be strengthening the payment infrastructure. Why do you want to do that? To promote a level playing field for the NBFCs, that is non-banking financial companies and banks. So this can be done. And with regard to the MSME, what we can do is digitizing registration, making all the registrations of the micro, small, medium enterprises online. Along with the compliance process, automatically what happens? The growth opportunities for MSME will increase, and also the DFI, digital financial inclusion, that will also be on rise. Clear? Yes, Shashidhar, what is it? Now, this is more important, guys. What are the initiatives? These are all extra points with regard to this particular current affairs taken from the PIB, Press Information Bureau, because sometimes you can get questions based on schemes also. Okay. So you tell me, what are the digital financial inclusion initiative taken by country India, the very famous JAM Trinity, not the Breadwala JAM. This is the Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity. So now the combination of your Aadhaar, the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, that is the objective of attaining financial inclusion for the entire country, and a surge in mobile communication. Bringing your Aadhaar, your financial inclusion perspective by making the people open the bank accounts and also connecting them with their registered mobile numbers, called as JAM Trinity. I can tell you that this particular digital initiative taken in our country, India, has reshaped the way citizens access government service. So they have their own identity. They are getting the confirmation via their registered mobile number. So corruption is being reduced and systematic functioning is happening. And as per the estimates or the calculations taken in March 2020, it is said that the total number of beneficiaries under Jan Dhan scheme is more than 380 million, which is indeed a great success. Don't you think so? Yes, a kudos to a country, India, guys. And the next one is expansion of financial service in rural and semi-urban areas. Now, for this particular purpose, a lot of initiatives were taken by RBI, the Central Bank of a country, and also NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, to promote the financial inclusion in rural area. One is opening of bank branches in remote areas. Then the KCC, the most important hit list topic, Kisan Credit Card Scheme for the farmers. Then linkage of self-help group with banks. Again, women empowerment is also coming up there. Then ATM, increasing the number of ATMs. Business correspondent model, that is bank sakis. From the self-help group, there will be a bank sakis or correspondents helping the other people to open the bank account. They'll be kind of the mediator for them. And next is the PIDF, the very first topic we discussed, Payment Infrastructure Development Fund or Scheme. So there's also another important initiative taken by the Government of India to explore or increase digital financial inclusion as a whole. Clear? Is it clear, all of you? Any doubt, any queries? Next is promotion of secure digital payment. That is also another important initiative taken by country India. We all have the UPI now. Today, wherever you go, do you have a UPI? Take, open, scan, finish it off. So with the strengthening of unified payment interference by NPCI, that is National Payment Corporation of India, I can tell you all the online or let's say digital payment, they have been made more secure compared to the past. That is true, guys. You have a lot of safety these days. And now a lot of payments are based on Aadhaar enabled perspective called as AEPS, Aadhaar enabled payment system. So now this is enabling an Aadhaar enabled bank account to be used at any place, anytime using micro ATMs. And thus the payment system has been more accessible due to offline transaction enabling platforms like USSD. What is that? Unstructured supplementary service data. So now it's making you possible. Can you believe you can use mobile banking without internet? So it's making it possible to use mobile banking service without even internet or even on even a basic mobile handset. So the technology is so widened that a lot of things are possible here. So don't you think so? Digital financial inclusion, a lot of initiatives have been taken even with regard to security perspective also. Yes. So it's high time that we are all moving, not only a few of us, but the entire country is moving and embracing this change for the fact that we are in the aim of making a country, India, digitalized in the coming years, because digital India is the current go for the country or the need of the hour for our country, India, right? And finally, you have a lot of initiative, but a person in a rural area doesn't even know how to operate it, how to operate the phone or how to operate the online stuff. Then what is the point? So what is more important to have a digitally financially inclusive India is enhancing financial literacy, the digital one. So because of that, the Reserve Bank of India, they have undertaken a project called as Project Financial Literacy. The whole objective is nothing but to spread or disseminate information regarding the central bank and general banking concept to various target groups like the school and college going children, the women, the rural and urban poor, defense personnel, senior citizens, all the people as a whole. Only when you're digitally aware, when you have a financial literacy of how to operate the system, you'll be able to attain the objective of financial inclusion. It's clear? They should know how to open a bank account, how to operate the phones with regard to the payments and all this stuff. And there is something called as pocket money. You know what is pocket money? That is a flagship program. Very interesting it is. Pocket money is something which we think about our parents. When you're at school and college, I love if my parents give me more of pocket money, we say. But this pocket money is a flagship program here by SEBI, guys. Security Exchange Board of India and your NSIM, National Institute of Security Market, aimed at increasing financial literacy among the school students, how to operate the bank accounts and stuff like that. Clear? And this is taken from PIB. Now I have a question from Shashidhar Tiwari. Ma'am, APA system, how does it work? See, Aadhaar enabled payment system, Shashidhar, how does it work? You have a bank account and your bank account will be related to your Aadhaar. When you go and fill your KYC, know your customer, you put your Aadhaar number. Even if you put a passport or a voter ID, that is not valid today. It is your Aadhaar number, the unique biometric identification that is valid there. So the name, the phone number, the address that is linked to Aadhaar will be linked to the bank account automatically. You understand? So now through this, no matter you are at any place, you are in whichever state part of a country, India, you are maybe a Keralite, but you're put up in Andhra or Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra, wherever. Using this APS enabled Aadhaar enabled bank system, at any place, at any time, using micro ATMs, you can operate a bank account. Very simple it is. Clear? That is called as AEPS. Did you understand, Shashidhar Tiwari? And the others, we are done with the top two topics for the month of May 2021. So in the second topic, we could see a lot of other related current affairs also coming up, around 5 to 6 other topics. So please write those topics as well. Don't think it is just two current affairs. In the two current affairs of economy, multiple other current affairs topics are also popping up. Clear? Perfect. So here we are with the month of June. The June 2021 economic current affairs. Let's quickly have a look into what it is all about. All ready for June? And are you all liking this way of analyzing or revising current affairs of economy, guys? Just like that in a marathon series, we have done a lot of current affairs. That is a different thing. Of economy, we have done regular sessions and stuff. But this is a revision time. Perfect. So now we have three articles. Okay, this is quite important. One is US suspends retaliatory tariffs on India from 7th of June ka Hindu newspaper. Next is loan to Sri Lanka for solar energy. And third is G20 Labour and Employment Ministers meeting. This is taken from PIB as per 25th June ka current affairs. So 1, 2, 3 on a go. Let's quickly have a look into what these topics are all about. And these were actually editorial articles. Okay, they were very important, guys. The economy ka current affairs. The first one is US were suspending retaliatory tariff on India. Why this particular topic is in news is the US. What they did is like they continuously suspended the imposition of all the retaliatory tariff attacks against 6 countries. In that 6 country, of course, a country India was a part of it, and and I can tell you that that had begun imposing digital service tax on companies like Google and Facebook. You can connect your GAFA, Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple. Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon. The GAFA tax. Okay, so now what the US do is that they kind of suspended retaliatory tariffs against 6 countries, including India, because we began imposing such kind of DST, digital service tax on companies, right? And other than India, if you see the other countries slapped with this tariff proposals were Austria, Italy, Spain, Turkey, and UK. So these are the important, topics to be noted. I mean, the important points to be noted under this particular topic. This is the reason why you're learning this particular topic. So let's quickly have a look into this particular topic in detail. So now, did you see something called as DST? Because these countries are imposing DST on companies like Google and Facebook, only US has suspended imposition of such kind of retaliatory tariff against 6 countries, right? Including India. So you should know what is digital service tax. Don't you think so? Yes, you should. Here we go. Okay. So what is digital service tax, my young officers? They are adopted taxes. Okay, on what? On revenues. So DSTs are nothing but they are adopted taxes on revenues, and they will have certain companies, guys, that certain companies generate from providing digital services. There are a lot of companies that provide online service. Your Facebook, Amazon, Google, all these are e-commerce company, and they do provide service and they earn money through the online platform. So don't you think they have to be taxed? Yes. There are so many digital or online multinational companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, and all. You have to tax them, no doubt in that. So the OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, they are also currently hosting negotiations with over 130 countries. And the aim is nothing but they want to adopt the international tax system. So see, when you tax, you have to tax not just the offline, but also the online perspective also, because these days online giants are like anything, I can tell you. They're earning n number of profit out there. You understand? So thus, the digital economy or online economy cannot be easily separated out from the rest of global economy. So we have to make sure that they are being taxed greatly, because today's economy is on the context of digital perspective. So now, having understood what is a digital service tax, back to the topic of discussion of the current affairs, the tariff which were imposed at the Office of United States Trade Representative, that is USTR, they noted that the tax is called as digital service tax, which is adopted by India, Italy, and Turkey. They're actually discriminating against US companies, and they're inconsistent with international tax principle. That is why US had to retaliate all this tariff, including a country, India. And under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974, Such kind of United States Trade Representative, now they enjoy a lot of response authority, guys, where they can investigate and take action to enforce US national interest under various trade agreements and respond to a load of certain, foreign trade practice and all. So that liberty is given to them. Clear? Yes, Shishida, is it as same as equalization levy? No, not the same. See, equalization levy is something different from the so-called, retaliation of tariff. Clear? Now, what was the reason, guys? Why did the US have to suspend, including India, guys? What is the reason for suspension? One is multilateral solution, because to allow time for ongoing international tax negotiations to continually this was done. And US is seeking a multilateral solution while maintaining the option of import tariff. That is the reason why they did this. Second is damage to global economy. See, the 6 countries, including India, guys, okay, which have been impacted, they're passing through a weak, through a weak post-COVID and recovery. And now it's not the time for us to play with these countries also. That's another thing. So it's having a huge damage to the global economy. And opening a new trade war front could even be damaging not only to them, but also to the broader global economy. See, when you do such kind of stuff, the economy already in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, they are damaged. On top of that, if you keep doing this, come on, this is not going to make a huge sense out there. So the combination of depressed economic activity because of the effects of pandemic and other tectonic shift, yeah, we need to, suspend it. That is one reason why, US did that. Clear? So though you may feel it is against those countries, also at one point of time, you're saving those countries to some extent here. Come on, you need to understand that as well. Clear? Next is change in administration. See, under the previous US government, when Mr. Trump was the president, I can tell you USTR was used to promote what his administration considered to be free, fair, and reciprocal trade. But now that is not the case. Under John Biden, that is not the case. But whatever the new administration appears to be seeking a middle path of waving the stick of USTR. That's how they do. So based on the administrative people stuff also, this had a lot of change. Now, having understood this in a generalistic perspective, don't you think so? You have to understand this from the point of view of a country, India. Yes, you have to. What is the impact of a country, India, guys, due to this? When there is a retaliation of such tariff for our country, India, by the US, of course, it is a huge loss of revenue for us. The tax levied by the Finance Bill 2021, they could actually yield approximately US $55 million annually. Now, what is happening? We are losing on the revenue. The negotiations with the US may result in scaling back of this tax, which means that, or which would imply that only a part of this revenue would be lost to the exchequer. Shashi, the retaliation means not agreeing it. You're retaliating to something. You're against something. Next is along with loss of revenue. The next impact for our country, India, is when US is doing this, we're having a huge impact on export. You can connect your GSP, General System of Preferences. Once India was actually exporting to US, and they're having a very good market, but then in the Trump government, or when Trump was the president, what happened? Listening to China, yeah, he actually stopped it for us. But again, we are getting back to track once again. So now there's a huge impact on export also. That is, we used to export a load of commodities to US here. Close to US $118 million of India's export to US would be subject to tariff proposed by US TTR. So don't you think so it's having a huge impact on 26 category of goods? Yes. Your basmati rice, cigarette paper, cultured pearls, semi-precious stones, certain gold and silver jewelry, sab kuch. And also some type of furniture products also. A huge impact, wherein the revenue of India, our country India, is a big question mark. And the growth prospects. That is indeed something to be understood, where it becomes quite difficult to push out due to all these reasons. Clear? The next important point is, what is the country India's point or view with regard to the digital company? That is India's tax on digital company. What the government do is, we've moved an amendment in the Finance Bill of 2021, where we said we'll impose 2% digital tax service on credit service by non-resident e-commerce operators who are getting an income or profit of more than 2 crore. Okay, and this effectively expanded the scope of equalization levy that time. Okay, and that applied only to a few of the online or digital advertising company, I can tell you. And if you see this equalization levy, which was introduced in the year 2016, it was at the rate of 6%. And they've imposed on the revenues that was generated on business to business digital advertisements. But today, If you see, we said let's go for a 2% digital service tax, not the same as equalization levy. Previously, we had something called as equalization levy, which is 6%, but now we have moved on to something where some amendment or change was made in the finance bill by the government, and they said let's go for a 2% digital service tax. Clear? And this new levy came into effect since April 1, I can tell you. And e-commerce operators, Amazon, Flipkart, whoever it is, they are obligated or compulsory. They have to pay the tax at the end of each quarter. They cannot even think of escaping it. Clear? So this is India's tax on digital companies, the stand of India's tax on digital companies. So what you can do, since our country India is racing towards becoming a digital or online giant, a 2% digital service tax should be negotiated. Why? So then through this, we'll be able to avoid any difficulty or hurdles in the implementation. And we have to, our country India should consider its options carefully at this juncture. And further, don't you think so that this need to be international consents on taxation on digital economy? Yes, it has to be. Yes, Ramya, 2% is very low. Say 2% is very low compared to the revenue that they get. But then at least 2% is something which they have to put in. Initially itself, you can't go for 10%. So let's start slow. Slow and steady wins the race. So does the case. Because in this 2% also, they'll do a lot of kallatra when they want to eliminate. If it is 10% and all, now, the first of all, digital companies, they will do all the loopholes and they'll try to bring out a figure. So as low as 2% when you keep, the amount of corruption or kallatra they can do to change the real turnover will be very less. The chance is very less. They'll be supposed they have to compulsorily pay it off. That is the whole idea here. Clear? Perfect. Now, the next important topic is loan to Sri Lanka for solar energy. So why we studied this particular topic is because recently a country in the month of June 2021, what happened was like they signed an agreement, and that was extending a US $100 million LOC line of credit to Sri Lanka. Basically for what? For the projects in the solar energy sector. We all know that solar sector, which comes under the renewable source of energy, is indeed the most important sector for us. So basically in view of that, our country India signed an agreement with our neighbor Sri Lanka, and that was extending a US $100 million line of credit. And this LOC is for a period of 20 years, 2 decades, and the interest is 1.75%. And between the government of Sri Lanka and the Export-Import Bank of India, not the government of India, but rather the Export Bank of India, this particular agreement was signed. Clear? And what is the XIM? That is a specialized financial institution, I can tell you. Wholly owned by whom? Of course, the government of India, no doubt in that. So now, between the XIM Bank of India and the government of Sri Lanka, what happened was like an agreement was signed. For what? For the projects in the solar energy sector, because they are the booming sectors these days, which comes under the renewable source of energy. Now, don't you think so? Such kind of agreement or let's say tie-up is a huge improvement for our country, India, because we are going and setting up the solar power park in Sri Lanka. Yes or no? Yes. So now, before that, you should know what is LOC. I told you that our country, India, yes, Ramya, 20 years old is a long term. Of course, it is a long thing. It is, see, the line of credit is for a 20 years and interest is very less than 1.75. That's how it should be done. And now, did you see when this agreement was signed between the EXIM Bank of India and the government of Sri Lanka, they extended the US $100 million line of credit to Sri Lanka. And what is LOC, by the way? What is line of credit? A normal line? Is it a normal line like this? Is it so? This is called as LOC. Okay, there is something more to it. Let me tell you what is line of credit. If you see, it's a facility. What facility? Credit facility. The line of credit or LOC is a credit facility which is given or extended by a bank or let's say any other financial institutions, guys, to whom? To the government, or they can do that to the business or to any individual customers like you and me. So through this line of credit, it will enable the customer to draw the maximum loan amount. And the borrower, whoever is going, it could be a business or individual or a government, they can access the fund from the line of credit when need that, as long as they do not exceed the maximum amount. There is something called as credit limit. As long as you're not exceeding the maximum amount, you can withdraw or you can access fund from this LOC at any time. That is there. That is what in the agreement also they'll say. Clear? And they have to meet other requirements like making proper timely minimum payment. Simple as this. This is called as LOC in simple term. And what is the importance of line of credit, guys? Through this, it will help to finance various projects in the solar energy sector in Sri Lanka, like rooftop solar photovoltaic system for household and government buildings. Now this solar rooftop is quite popular, guys. In every apartments, in every flats, in every homes, you can see this, where the rooftop you can see the solar panels and all. And another important importance of this LOC is some of the projects were announced during the founding conference of International Solar Alliance, which was held way back in the year 2018 in Delhi. Clear? Is it very clear, all of you? Pakka? Am I audible and visible to you people? Is everything fine? Pakka. Okay. Now, having understood this, we are talking about the solar perspective. That's all with regard to the current affairs there. Okay, there is nothing more that you should study about the current affairs, guys. Now, what is important is that from this particular current affairs, few topics like ISA, that is International Solar Alliance, and other initiative for our country India with regard to the solar energy development is to be understood. So, what are the initiative by our country India for the global cooperation solar energy is something to be understood. One is ISA, International Solar Alliance. What is that, guys? Let's quickly have a look into what that is all about. So now this ISA was launched by the Prime Minister of India along with the President of France in the year 2015. And that was done on the sidelines of the UN Climate Change Conference of Party 21, where 121, that is more than 100 countries, approximately 121 solar resource rich countries lying fully or partially between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn were the prospective members. That is a time where this ISA, that is International Solar Alliance, was put forward. And how many countries have signed the ISA framework agreement, guys? 89 countries. Okay. And the vision of ISA is to enable one world, one sun, one grid. Your OSOWOG. Also work called as one world, one sun, and one grid, because the solar is with regard to sun. That is where one sun is coming over there. Clear? So this is what is called as your International Solar Alliance in a short, sweet, and simple manner. These many points are enough, guys. Please note it. PM of India, President of France, 2015. UN COP21. Between Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn country agreement, 89 countries have signed the agreement. Simple as that. And the vision is OSOWOG. One grid, one world, one sun, one grid. Simple as that. Clear? That is enough. Now, what is this one sun, one world, and one grid, guys? Now, this is actually focusing on a framework, so you'll be able to facilitate a better world of global cooperation. You'll be able to build a very good global ecosystem of interconnected renewable energy resource, mainly solar energy and all. So, so you'll be able to develop the solar sector to a greater extent. Clear? Now, apart from this, the next important points to be noted. I've taken all this from the PIB, guys. These are all extra informations and extra current affairs topic based on the same area. The months may differ, but still, these are also important for you to understand, because when you do a marathon series, when you do a current affairs series, it's very important that you get to know all these things also clearly. You understand? Just by teaching you only the current affairs, what came in the paper, doesn't make a sense. What are the related important hit list topics covering that area? The complete thing. At one stroke, how can you cover it? So, like a one big chapter of one particular area, you're able to cover the entire thing. And that is making a lot of sense, my young officers. Let me tell you that. Okay, so here we go. Some of the other important schemes for promoting solar energy in our country, India, is recently a country, India. Okay, we achieved 5th global position in what? In solar power deployment. That too by surpassing Italy. So point number one is yes, Shashidhar, creating connection in the, yeah, exactly the same. That's what I do in every class, not only this class, every class. So now the first one is with regard to these schemes for promoting solar energy in our country, India's National Solar Mission. And now this particular mission, I can tell you, it's a part of NAPCC. What is an NAPCC, guys? National Action Plan on Climate Change. So the whole idea of the National Solar Mission is they want to establish a country, India, as a global leader in the solar energy. For that, they have to create the policy conditions. Okay, next is rooftop solar scheme. You can see all the rooftop solar stuff now. So basically, to generate solar power by installing solar panels on the rooftop of the house, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, they implemented something called as Grid Connected Rooftop Solar Scheme Phase 2. I showed you a picture a couple of slides before. That is the whole point. The next is PLI scheme. You see, even for the solar, the government has come with production linked incentive scheme. Why? Because they want to promote manufacturing of the high efficiency solar photovoltaic, that is PV modules in India. Today, if you see, this is the third or the fourth time I'm repeating the topic called as PLI, which means it's a very, very important topic. It is spread across multiple sectors, approximately 13 sectors. Clear? The next is scheme for development of ultra mega renewable energy power park. What is that? Let me highlight that for you. So now the whole idea is they have to develop some ultra mega renewable energy power parks. Okay. And already you have an existing solar park scheme. You're kind of adding up more to it with all the ultra technologies and all. And next is PM Kusum, the very, very important hit list topic. You remember as per 2020 UPSC prelims examination, I predicted the same question. And in the prelims marathon booster series, which I did in the Plus platform, the same keyword you could see in the question paper also. It's a very, very important topic, guys. The Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uttam, Mahabin, the Pradhan Mantri Kusumka scheme. Okay, this scheme basically they cover grid connected renewable energy power plants. Okay, which consist of the solar water pumps, or let's say even the agriculture, farms which are grid connected. That is what the so-called Kusum scheme does. Clear? Next, you have something called as National Wind Solar Hybrid Policy, combining the thermal energy and wind energy along with solar. This is a hybrid policy 2018. So basically, the objective is to provide a framework for the promotion of large grid-connected wind solar PV hybrid system. So two things are happening at the same time, right? Making to have an efficient and optimal utilization of wind and solar resource. So there has been a transmission infrastructure and land is also happening there. Next is Ajay, not the Nivarwala Ajay, it is Atal Jyoti Yojana, and that was launched way back in the year 2016 September, and that is for the installation of all the solar street lights. You can see in the streets over there in your ways, the street lights are these days made of solar things, and that is with less than 50% households covered with grid power and all. Okay, that's another good initiative. And finally, Surya Mitra skill development program, that was to give skill training to the rural youth on handling solar installation, because they should be known that. So through this, you'll be able to provide employment opportunities to these, unemployed rural population youngsters. At the same time, skill development of them is also taking place. So you can connect the National Skill Development Corporation of India ka 2015 ka objective as well. Skill, upskill, and reskill. So multiple things are coming under one single umbrella. Did you understand? So this is what you should learn from this particular topic in a holistic manner. Very clear, all of you? Pakka? Next is G20 Labor and Employment Ministers meeting. Why this particular topic was in news is the Union Minister for Labor and Employment. Okay. He said that our country, India, is making a load of collective efforts. Why? Because we have to reduce something called as gender gap, exclusive labor force participation. It is very, very pathetic to know that between male and female, the participation of female, labor force participation is less than 20%. It's only 19.4% approximately. It's such a shame, I can tell you. Okay, so we need to bridge that gap or reduce gender gap and make sure that we are making a lot of efforts in doing that, ensuring more female participation out there. And this particular Union Minister for Labour and Employment, when he was delivering the ministerial address on Declaration and Employment Working Group Priorities G20 Labour and Employment Ministers meeting only, this was said by him. Clear? Now, this is the current affairs of this particular topic. Let's quickly, let me tell you what is G20 all about. Basically, G20, you have heard about G7, that this G20 group of countries, G7 group of country and all. So G20 is an informal group and 19 countries are a part of it. Okay, it's a group of 19 countries along with the European Union. And they have few representatives from the international institutions like IMF, International Monetary Fund, and also World Bank. And thus, this G20 membership, which is an informal group, a political symposium of an informal group, it comprises a mix of the world's largest advanced, the developed as well as developing or emerging economy. About 2/3 of the world's population, 85% of global gross GDP, 80% of global investment, 70% global trade is coming in under that. Do you think India is a part of this G20, guys? Is India part of G20? Think and say. Yes or no? Is India part of G20? People are thinking. Is India part of G20? Are? Quick. Why so much of doubt? Ramya is saying yes. Is India part of G20? Use your brains. Bullshit. 2 to 3 heads I'll give. Get back to the editorial lessons I've taught you. Look at the members here. Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India. All these things are there. Because you saw India here, you're telling me India is a member? In what way India is a member? Use your brains. We are a Troika member. You remember I've taught you this in the editorial last month. Troika member. That is, as a Troika member, India will work closely with Indonesia and Italy to ensure consistency and continuity in the G20's agenda. And yes, we are a member because in the coming year, the next December 2022, December 1, 2022, currently Indonesia is a president. So now India will assume the G20 presidency, guys, from Indonesia, and will convey the G20 leaders summit for the very first time in India in the year 2023. I have taught you this. You remember? Priya is another. She's saying no. India is a member, yeah. I was just trying to confuse you, but I just want to make you understand the Troika Wala member ka point, which I discussed with you in the editorial article. These are all recent current affairs also we have discussed. Clear? Okay. Now, what are the issues they discussed as G20 countries? The employment working group deliberately they discuss upon key issues including women employment, social security, remote working, and all. If you see in the year 2014, the G20 leaders they pledged in Brisbane that they will reduce the gap in labor force participation rates between men and women by at least 25% in the year 2025. And they did that because they had an aim of bringing 100 million women into labor market. They want to increase global and inclusive growth, and they want to reduce poverty and also inequality. Clear? Now, what are the initiatives taken by our country, India, guys, for this? With regard to education and skilling effort, we have brought in the new NEP, New National Education Policy 2020, wherein we'll do a lot of reforms in school and higher education system. We'll be able to strengthen our education and skilling effort. So quality education is coming right from preschool to senior secondary stage. Clear? Then we have the we have the National Skill Development Mission, where we'll focus on the skill activity and all. See, gender gap can be reduced only when education has been penetrated, guys. Let me tell you that. Education and skill development is very important for the gender gap to reduce to a greater extent. So when you are having such kind of National Skill Development Mission, education mission, automatically quality educations, then the skill training activities and all will increase. Then you have something called as Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, PMKVY. So here they are focusing on the youngsters or youth people to take up industry-related skill training. So they'll be able to assist them in securing better opportunities. Then the Diksha is there, Diksha and Swayam, where digital educational content has been made available on various e-learning platforms. Clear? So these are the important points to be noted. Clear, all of you? And for employment generation, Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana is there, where the government will pay up to 25% of wages towards EPF contributions for all the new employees as well as those who have lost their jobs in the pandemic and who have been re-employed, just to help them. These are all the stuff which they do. And to ensure women participation, what they will do, they'll bring some changes in the wages called as new code on wages. See, even though women are employed, there is a huge discrimination in the salary that they are getting paid compared to the other gender, right? Even in the normal sector and also in the, in the top entertainment sector as well. I've told these examples many times to you people. Remember the same thing. Now, when such kind of new code on gender wages coming up, guys, it will reduce a kind of gender-based discrimination wages, recruitment, and also conditions of employment. Then Mudra Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, where they'll provide a lot of financial support to women entrepreneurs. So this will encourage them to start new enterprises. They'll start giving loans, which are security collateral free up to 9 lakh crore. So a lot of things has been done to ensure the participation of women as a whole. Clear? And now they even said to make more of participation and reduce gender gap, new code and social security will be brought in. That will include even self-employed people to come under the social security coverage. And women can even work during night hours, and duration of paid maternity leave has been increased from 12 to 26 weeks. So like this and all will actually help them to greater extent, guys. Clear? Yes, Shashidhar, in unorganized sector like construction mostly. See, not only construction, there are a lot of sectors like that which has to be focused here. You cannot really say it's construction. A lot of sectors are there. Even in the so-called entertainment industry, I've told you this before. One Khan will be paid, 20 crore, but another, cone will be paid only 1 or 2 crore. Example I'm giving you. See, the big stars, always the male domination is there, even in the entertainment industry. So just think about the novel industries or the normal sectors out there. It happens. But that doesn't mean that there are no highly paid women. Of course, there are highly paid women. Educational qualification of them has actually helped them, or the talent out them has actually helped them to cut that barrier also. So there are a lot of successful women also out there who are earning pretty much better. But it has to be there for everybody, not just few of the population as a whole. That's the whole point. Clear? Now, we are done with the month of current affairs of June 2021. So 6 months. Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. Now the seventh month, July 2021 is coming up. So yes, you wanted a break, na? Or shall we continue? You all want a break. 10 minutes, okay? Is 10 minutes fine with you people, or you want a break after August? Quickly tell me. So I'll be able to finish it up for you quite faster. Okay, Ramya is saying near to 3 hours. Let me count. 11:30 to 12:30, 12:30 to 1:30, 1:32. Yeah, it's getting 3 hours. Okay, because it's getting 3 hours, you want a break. I'll take only half an hour more. Half an hour or maximum 1 hour. Not more than that. Is it fine? Oh, this is a big topic. It will take at least 15 minutes. See, as the months are increasing, the topics are also increasing. So, hello, I'll give you pakka 10 minutes break. 2:30, 2:20 it is. 2:30, I should, see you all back. Fine? Quick. Yes. Hi, everyone. So the break is done. I hope you went and had your lunch also. I gave you, I think, more than 10 minutes I gave you. From 2:25, 30, 35, yeah, I think 15 minutes I gave. That's okay. Sometimes, 3 hours continuously sitting and it's your afternoon time. I didn't want to make you sit like that without having your food. So I thought, chalo, let people have their lunch as well and come back. Perfect. Yes, Tejas, Ashtosh. Yes, I give you extra. Yeah, Priya, because when you have your lunch, you shouldn't actually do two things at the same time. Having a biscuits or tea or a coffee or fruit is different. But when it is lunch, aram se, you should eat. That's the whole point. without multitasking. That's a food actually, which makes your brain work. And even, I also had my lunch quickly and came. That was a quick lunch for me. That's why I give you extra, 10 minutes. Anyways, back to class. So now that your brains are fresh, let's start with the current affairs for the month of July 2021, exclusively based on the subject economy. We have four different important topics out here. And this month, you can see a lot of, economy topics. So from the Hindu and the PIB, I've taken, guys. One was economic relief package after COVID second wave. Then NATRAC's high-speed track, Baihathan Dam, which is the world's second biggest hydropower dam, and then the PM formalization of micro food processing enterprise scheme. Yes, Ashidhar, after lunch feel sleepy, 2 to 3 in your head. Whenever you're studying or something, I've told you afternoon take curd rice. Have your rice, put some curd into it. If you have this chamandi or some other vegetable or something, mix and have with a pickle or something. The best for your brain, for your body, and you will never feel sleepy. I bet you. Because I did that and came now, Otherwise, how will I take a class? Anyways, back to class. So now these are the four most important topics pertaining to the month of July 2020 in economic current affairs. So the very first topic, why are we studying this? There was an economic relief package after COVID second wave. So recently, in the month of July, what happened was like the Ministry of Finance, okay, they announced a lot of measures so as to provide some sort of relief to the diverse sectors who has been affected by the second wave of this pandemic. We know that the first wave and then the second wave, come on, that was something that's not that acceptable. Again, lot of sectors were affected, but then the whole advantage is that compared to the first wave, the second wave, though it was more aggressive also, we were able to manage for the fact that we were prepared. We knew, okay, we all knew this is going to happen. So we were a little prepared, facing the second wave. That is why we were not completely thrashed down, I can tell you. So thus, after the second wave, the Ministry of Finance, when they announced the economic relief package, the aim was to prepare the health system for emergency response and provide a lot of impetus for growth and employment. But though that is the case, also see, the government has to do. So expenditure will also increase, which means that yes, the FD, that is fiscal deficit, will also increase by 0.6%. That was a report given by the State Bank of India. So every year in the budget, 3% is the fiscal deficit, the limitation that they give. Anything more than that cannot be permitted. But this year, if you see, last year and this year together, if you see, extra 1% was permitted, making the fiscal deficit to 4%. Okay, because of the so-called COVID-19 pandemic and other fluctuations. The government couldn't at all control, or let's say the government couldn't at all, stick on to the ceiling or limit of fiscal deficit, guys. They had to keep on and borrowing even more because the condition of the economy is such that we all know that, right? So now because of that, in the pandemic and the other wave, this happened. And thus a total of 17 measures costing or amounting to 6,28,000 crore was announced in the economic relief package after the COVID-19 second wave. Clear? So this is why you are studying this particular topic, guys. Now, this was an article which is there in the editorial as well. You can just have a look into it. It's a brilliant article. Now, what was the economic relief? We are talking about the economic relief. What was the economic relief from the pandemic, guys? One was there was a loan guarantee scheme for all the COVID affected sectors. That is, it was said that an extra or additional credit of 1.1 lakh crore will go to the business. And that will include what? 50,000 crore for the health sector and 60,000 for the other sectors, including tourism, because tourism also got greatly affected, and the health sector, and the health sector component, they are aimed at scaling medical infrastructure targeting all the undeserved areas. That is all the rural and remote areas, the non-metropolitan and all. Clear? So then the whole point is they want to make sure that all the COVID affected sectors, they are highly guaranteed with loan. And then they said there should be a guarantee coverage, 50% for expansion and 75% for new projects. See, for both for new and expansion projects for exclusively as special district, there should be a guarantee. And they said there should be a maximum loan admissible under the scheme, and that will be 100 crore. And the guarantee duration will be up to 3 years, which will enable the people to come up with a lot of startup and carry out the work. And they said there will be another emergency credit line guarantee scheme also. And that emergency credit guarantee line scheme is already there, which is a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhi. And they said that will be again expanded by May 2020 by rupees 1.5 lakh crore. That's what they actually did. Clear? So these are the few economic relief, guys, packages from the pandemic that was given to all the sectors that was affected. And now, what is a CGC for MFI, guys? That is Credit Guarantee Scheme for Microfinance Institution. Now, this is a scheme which is very much important because in the COVID-19 pandemic, okay, this particular scheme was highly useful, especially for all the MSME sectors, I can tell you, and also for all the microfinance institutions, because MSME depend upon them for the money, right? So now this is a new scheme. Credit Guarantee Scheme for Microfinance Institution means a new scheme, and the target area is to benefit the smallest of the borrowers, guys, who are served by the network of microfinance institutions. So what they will do, some sort of guarantee will be given to the scheduled commercial banks for all the loans to new and existing NBFC. So they'll be able to carry forward the activity in spite of them being a small, a small borrower, let's say a small industrial or a small, MSME person. Clear? And even without giving any collateral or any security, they'll get the thing done. They'll be able to carry forward their work properly. And similarly, another important, COVID relief package or scheme, like your, credit guarantee scheme for MFI. The another one was extension of Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana. And this is basically to, incentivize employers, the one who gives employment now, for more of employment opportunities, so all the people get back their jobs, and even for restoration of the loss of employment through EPF, Employees Provident Fund Organization. Then you had another measure, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan, Yojana. And to the beneficiaries under the National Food Security Act, they said that 5 kg food grain per month will be given for free for the period of May to November 2021. That is also another important initiative, an economic relief package, I can tell you, which was brought after the second COVID-19 pandemic, because food security is very important. Even you have the ration card, ration shops via PDs and all also. Sometimes extra care has to be taken because the situation was very pathetic. Then there was a new scheme for children and pediatric care, another economic relief package and schemes after the second wave was this. This is basically a new scheme for strengthening public health infrastructure and human resources. For that, around 23,000 crore was announced, guys. A huge amount was spent on that because health infrastructure was on the forefront due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Then climate resilience special tried varieties. The Resident Council of Agriculture Research, they developed some bio-fortified varieties of crop like wheat, fortified rice, fortified wheat and all, because they have very high nutrients like protein, zinc, iron, vitamin A and all. So all these were also going simultaneously because people wanted to have food item which is highly nutritious for them to maintain their health. So all these things was happening. Clear? Next is Digital India. Another in that package, they also focused on what Digital India scheme, where they wanted to make sure that they are expanding and upgrading Bharat Net cover to all the Gram Panchayat and the remote and rural villages as a whole. Clear? For that extra 19,000 crore was provided, guys, to implement that Bharat Net in public-private partnership model on 16 states based on viability gap funding basis. And what is important, guys? What do you think such kind of economic package measures put forward by the government after the second COVID will benefit? See, this will actually increase more of money supply. That is what they're trying to tell here. It will usher in much needed liquidity because the required money supply will be brought in, and it will help to revive or bring back the employment incentive sectors such as tourism, because that was a huge loss during COVID time. Now then slowly people have started moving out. There is virtual tourism also these days, so money can slowly come up. And also it will save the livelihood and mitigate further closures and create more job opportunities. Then it will enable you to manage any such healthcare challenges in the future. Then it will also enable the COVID affected sectors to come up from the challenges and recover at least in a year or so. And all the small businesses, the money requirement for them, they could indirectly revive the fortunes of large industries, and they'll be able to carry forward the activity at least in some or the other way without completely getting up in losses. So this is what this particular article is telling you. Clear? Is it very clear, all of you? Now the next one. NATRAC's high-speed track. Why this particular topic was in news is recently the Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprise, they inaugurated NATRACs. What is that? The high-speed track in Pithampur, Indore, which is put up in Madhya Pradesh. Based on that, we're going to study this topic. So what is basically NATRACs, guys? Let's quickly have a look into it. This is how the NATRACs looks. The so-called ultra-modern stuff you can see in Madhya Pradesh, guys. Go to Indore, you can see this in Pithampur. So now basically this is one of the state-of-art automotive testing and certification center, guys, coming under National Automotive Testing Research and Development Infrastructure Project, NATRIP. It's a beautiful thing, right? Just look at the advancement, guys. Like a developed country, you can see that, right? So which means India also has beautiful things like this, which is yet to be explored. So thus this NATRIP, okay, this particular project, it is the largest and the most important initiative in the so-called automotive sector. And now this NATRIP is not a private thing or a government thing alone. Rather, you have representatives from Government of India, the number of state governments, and also Indian automotive industry experts. And yes, since it is talking about the automobile and other perspective, they don't come under any other ministry. Rather, it is a flagship program of the Ministry of Heavy Industries. So please keep this in mind because you can get confused with regard to ministry. Clear? So thus, to create the state-of-art testing, validation, and research and development in the country, such kind of NATRIX program is brought in. So this so-called NATRAX, NATS, the high-speed track, it is a world-class 11.3 kilometer high-speed track. And as far as Asia is concerned, this is the longest in Asia, this particular track. And in the world, we are the 5th largest. So that's a great kudos to our country, India. And it took 1,000 acres of land for our country, India, to develop such kind of tracks, I can tell you. And there are a lot of benefits of this, guys. You can have multiple test capabilities like measurement of maximum speed, acceleration, constant speed, fuel consumption, emission test, then handling and stability evaluation, etc., etc., etc. And it is a center of excellence for vehicle dynamics. Believe me, a beautiful things to explore. What is the development, guys? For such what is the importance of such kind of track? Point number one: development of prototype cars for India. See, we know that many times for all the high-end cars, the high-end luxury cars and all, the testing cannot be done here. It has to be done somewhere else and they have to come. So now that we have it in a country, India, this high-speed track is used for measuring the maximum speed capability of high-end cars like BMW, Mercedes, etc. Because you cannot measure the speed of these cars on any of the Indian test track. They do not have the facility. But now since we have this NATRAX high-speed track, we can do that in our Madhya Pradesh itself. And foreign OEMs who will be looking for the NATRAX high-speed tracks to develop a prototype cars for Indian conditions. For that also it will be useful. Clear? Because currently we're doing it abroad, all the testing and all, but now we can do it in our country, India. Second is one-stop solution. Yes, for all sorts of high-speed performance test, being one of the largest in the world, this is the one-stop solution. And can cater not just to one category of vehicles, but a variety of category of vehicles, guys, ranging from two-wheelers to heavy tractor trailers, which you can even see in Dubai. To that level, this tractor has the capacity to test the speed, I can tell you. Clear? So this particular news is taken from the PIB. Fine. These are all very, 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 very simple topics. Nothing much to break your heads. Let me tell you that. So it should be simple. The next important topic is regarding the dam. Bahitin Dam, world's second biggest hydro. One second. Yeah. World's, second biggest hydro power dam. So recently, which country? Of course, the Shaguni neighbor, China has only brought this. China has put into operation the Bahitin Dam, which is the world's second biggest hydropower dam. That's again using the renewable energy only. So the Three Gorges Dam, they are the largest hydropower dam in the world. And that is also along the China's Yangtze River. And since 2003, that has been brought in. Now the second one has been, brought in by China, and that is called as Bahitin Dam. Even the first one is near the China's Yangtze River only. Clear? You can see the map, guys. Can you see this? Bahitin Hydro Project, the red one. This area. Can you see the Yangtze River? The first biggest dam is also there only. Okay. Now, let me quickly take you to the details of this particular river, guys. It's quite important as well because, sometimes a little of geography is also important for you to understand the importance of this particular dam, that is Bahitin Dam. So, we are going to see a little of geographic static portion here. About this dam, if you see, it is on the river called as Jinsha. Not Nisha, guys, it's Jinsha. You see? Nisha, only thing a J is coming extra. It's putting my name ulta, guys. Anyways, it's Jinsha River, which is the tributary of the river called as Yangtze, which is near to China. And that river is called as, the longest river in Asia. And with the total installed capacity of 16,000 megawatt, this particular river has been built. I mean, this dam has been built on this river. And it is said it will be eventually, they'll be able to generate enough electricity each day, wants to meet the power needs of, let's say, 5 lakh people for an entire year. So much of benefit is there, guys, with regard to this Bahitin Dam. One is the advantage they get with regard to the river capacity. Second is the advantage they get with regard to the, national perspective. And what do you think could be the benefit for China because of this particular dam? Now, this is an effort of China. Okay, so now it is a part of the effort of China to reduce or curb what? The surging fossil fuel demand by building more hydropower capacity, because that comes under the renewable source of energy. That is one of the most important significance for China. The known significance. And next thing is, in a hidden manner, it is a way in which China can actually cross out the other neighbors in becoming the superpower through such kind of dam, where the entry becomes more easy for them. You understand, they're very smart. These are all kallatrams, guys, hidden wala kallatrams. Apart from that, the significance for China is, this comes at a time, this particular dam, when dams have fallen out of favor in other countries due to so many environmental problems like flooding, farmland, disruption of ecology of rivers, threatening fish and other species and all. And even China, they have a pledge in 2020 to reach carbon neutrality, which they are supposed to achieve by the year 2060. And that also added the urgency to the construction of this particular dam in China, called as Baihetan Dam. So they had the reasons for the construction of this dam at the earliest, using the renewable source of energy, that is hydropower capacity. But don't you think so, guys? Sometimes, kabhi kabhi, this could even turn out to be a concern as well. Of course, it could. What could be the concerns? You tell me. What could be the concerns? One is agriculture. See, a huge dam, okay, like on Brahmaputra, it could hold back massive amount of silt, which is carried by the river. And a silty soil is quite more fertile, guys, compared to other type of soil. And it is very, very good for growing crops. But this is carried by the river. This silt is being carried by the river. So what happens? Fertility is dropped. And this is affecting the farming in the areas downstream. That is the biggest concern with regard to this construction of huge dam, because silt is being carried away. Next is water resource. We all know that India is very much worried regarding the release of water during monsoons. Oh my goodness, when too much of water comes, you'll open the dam, the livelihood, the subkuch, the nearby farmlands, everything is destroyed. This is very recently happening in the state of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. We are witnessing, right? Because of floods and monsoons and all. So now, here in the context of northeastern states like Assam, when they experience flood, now then Kerala and Tamil Nadu is also experiencing. So we have to open it up. So that's causing a lot of issue. Clear? If you see in the year 2017, the Doklam border standoff between India and China stopped communication of water flow levels from its dam because they sense the danger out there. Similarly, guys, another important concern is with regard to the ecological impact. See, if you talk about the ecosystem in the Himalayan region, already it is on the decline. And a lot of plants and animals, like special species of flora and fauna, they are endemic to this part of the world. And some of them, oh my goodness, they're critically endangered, and they could have disastrous or harmful consequence in this ecologically sensitive zone. So it's very important that we are having a massive engineering projects to displace hundreds of thousands of local communities, and we are actually protecting them to a greater extent. Clear? So what you can do for this? As simple as that, India has actually urged China to ensure that the interests of downstream states are not harmed by any activity in upstream areas. See, let them go with the Baihetan Dam, very good thing. But then it shouldn't affect the downstream areas with a lot of negative impacts. So India has actually urged China and warned China on the same. At the same time, India is even more smarter. You know, what are we doing? When China is doing this, Baihetan Dam out there, India is considering building a 10 gigawatt hydropower project where in the valley called as Dibang in Arunachal Pradesh. Not the Bang movie of Salman, guys. It is Dibang Valley in Arunachal. Why? Because they have to mitigate the adverse impact of Chinese dam. They all know that China is so smart that this dam can have a lot of issues. So what is India doing? Fatafa, the next hydro, power project with 10 gigawatt GW, they are planning in Arunachal Valley. So they are able to mitigate or stop the harmful or the adverse impact of the Chinese dam. This is what India is doing, because India knows that even if you tell China, they're not going to stop it. So let's take action in the way we can. So however, whatever the whole point is, the larger point is that too much of hydropower development is not a great idea, guys. Why? Because though hydropower is a renewable source of energy also, when it comes to the fragile mountainscape, come on, it's not a great idea. It's a reality. And this particular article is taken from the Live Mint. Clear? That's it. The next important topic for the month of July 2021, PM formalization of micro food processing enterprising scheme. So now why this particular topic is news is the Pradhan Mantri formalization of micro food processing enterprise scheme. Okay, that was launched under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, the 20 lakh crore economic stimulus package. And if you see on June 29, they completed one. In the context of that, we are discussing this. And currently, this particular PMFME scheme is currently implemented in 35 states and UTs as a whole. It's having a broad range. After agriculture, again, If you see, food processing sector has a lot of potential to employ a lot of people, directly and indirectly. So food processing industry is having a huge market, guys, in our country, India. So formalization of the micro food processing industry is very, very important, I can tell you. Clear? So, who is the nodal ministry, guys, for the food processing industry? Of course, it is Ministry of Food Processing Industry, no doubt in that. And they follow something called as ODOP approach. That is one district, one product approach. That is, the concerned states will identify the food products of that particular district, keeping in view the existing groups or clusters and availability of raw material and which they are good at. Accordingly, they'll start producing or focusing on the same thing. For example, some areas may be good at mango, potato, pickle, millet-based products, fishery, poultry. Accordingly, they'll start focusing. One district, one product approach for a micro penetration and development holistically. And the implementation for this kind of project is, let's say, 5 years from 2020 to 2021. And funding is like, it is a centrally sponsored scheme, which means half the funding is done by the central government, the remaining half is done by the state government. Okay. So the outlay is 10,000 crore. So the ratio 60% funding by the central and 40 by the state. But in the context of northeastern state, that is not the case. 90% funding is given to the northeastern state for the development of such kind of industry by the central government. 10% there's northeastern states like Assam and all do by themselves. Not only for northeastern, even for the Himalayan states, it is the same. Whereas for UTs and all, 101% the funding is only and only by the central government. Clear? Now, let's quickly have a look into what is actually the real status of Indian food industry, because we're talking about the Pradhan Mantri Micro Food Processing Enterprise Scheme, right? So why are we giving more importance to this? Because if you see, as far as the food industry for a country India is concerned, come on, the Indian food and grocery market, we are the world's sixth largest, with retail contributing 70% of sales. And if you see, one second, yeah. And if you see, okay, and if you have a look into this particular food industry, I can tell you that it accounts for the Indian food processing industry. We account for 32% of country's total food market, which is one of the largest industry in our country, India. And we are ranked 5 in terms of production, consumption, export, and expected growth. So having such an important potential with regard to the food industry, don't you think you have to explore this? Of course you have to. And if you see with regard to the GVA, gross value added, okay, where are we? We contribute around 8.80 and 8.39 of the GVA in manufacturing agriculture. Clear? So much of potential we have here with regard to country India. So we have to really focus on this food industry, right? And apart from this, see, again, the other schemes related to the food processing is the PLI scheme. Once again, PLI is coming. You see, it's the fifth or the sixth time I'm repeating this. The PLI for food processing industry. The aim is to give companies some incentive on incremental sales from whatever products they have manufactured within the country India. Then mega food park scheme, yeah, that is basically to create modern infrastructure facilities for all the food processing along the value chain from farm to market. So you will have a very strong forward and backward linkages through a group or cluster based approach. So these are the other schemes related to food processing. This is very important. Clear? This is also taken from the PIB, guys. So you can have a look into it. That's it. Nothing more is required. So we are done with the current affairs for the month of July 2021. All the 4 topics have got inside your brains. I hope yes it is. Now it's time for us to quickly have a look into the current affairs for the month of August. So we have August, September, October, November, December. 5 more months to go. Just like that, quickly we'll brush up. I'll not take more time of you. Before 4, we'll try to finish. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, you have 4 topics here. What to do? As the months are increasing, the topics are also increasing, but very simple ones only. Samagra Shiksha Scheme 2 from Indian Express. Then Faceless Assessment Scheme, Income Tax. We have done this before also. You remember the Faceless Appeal, Faceless Assessment and all. Very important topic. Then Ujjwala version 2 and Government E-Marketplace. We have taken from the Hindu, then Down to Earth and also Indian Express. Multiple days it has come up. So if you see Samagra Shiksha Scheme version 2 is something that you're going to study today. Yes, Tejas? And by the way, where are the others? Just go and tell Telegram that this class is starting. I think people have nicely had their lunch and acha se, they're sleeping. Is it so? Yes, they are. Nicely, people are sleeping. What are you doing actually? Praising. No, no, you're not sleeping. You're still awake. Oh my goodness. Yes, ma'am, you're here for the classes. That's a great go. So here we go. Samagra Shiksha Scheme version 2. So why we study this particular topic is the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Okay, they approved the school education program called the Samagra Shiksha Scheme version 2. And that will be approved till the year 2025-26 for the financial year. And in this particular scheme, if you see, it has been upgraded to align, or let's say to keep it in par with the Sustainable Development Goal for education and then NEP, new educational national education policy, which is put forward in 2020. So basically, for that particular purpose, only Samagra Shiksha scheme was put forward. So what is the scheme? One second. Just give me 30 seconds, guys. Just give me 30 seconds. I'll be back. One second. Yes, my office, I'm back. So now, talking about the, Samagra Shiksha scheme. What is that scheme all about? Why we are studying this particular topic? Because recently the CCA, they approved that school education program called as Samagra Shiksha version 2 for another 5 years, right? So now basically it's a school program. Okay, it's for the school students. So it's an integrated scheme for the school education, and they'll cover the entire school children, the entire gamut of school children, right from the preschool to class 12. That is another important point to be noted. So now in this particular, scheme, they want to make sure that they're delivering inclusive, equitable, and affordable school education, because right from pre-KG to your class 12. So this particular scheme is a very big scheme, Samagra Shiksha scheme. Previously, you had so many schemes like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Abhiyan, and all. Now, all these three schemes called as Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, and Teacher Education. These three schemes are coming under one particular scheme called as Samagra Shiksha scheme today. So all these schemes have been cut off. Rather, it is under one particular scheme called as Samagra Shiksha. And now the version 2 of that has been put forward. Clear? Now, if you see, this particular scheme is having a huge scope because they cover 1.16 million schools, around 156 million students, and 5.7 million teachers of government and aided schools, right from pre-primary to senior secondary has been covered. And of course, they have been implemented as a centrally sponsored scheme, no doubt in that. And again, centrally sponsored scheme it is. As I told you, 60% by central and 40% by the state government. And since it deals with school education, of course, the only single ministry is Ministry of Education. Clear? Since 2018, this particular Samagra Shiksha scheme is put forward. So now we have revised Samagra Shiksha scheme to Samagra Shiksha scheme version 2. So the few important points to be noted in the version 2 of the scheme is DBT, direct benefit transfers. So in order to enhance and increase the direct outreach of the scheme, all child-centric interventions, it is said that will be provided directly to the students through DBT mode on an IT, information technology based platform over a period of time. And this DBT would include RT, right to education entitlements like textbook, uniform, transport allowance, etc., etc. So nobody is left out. And on the basis of recommendations given by the National Education Policy, it is said they'll start encouraging Indian languages. Doesn't mean that they will not promote Indian the common language, but they will encourage Indian languages. That is, they have a new component for appointment of language teachers, which include salaries and training costs as well as bilingual books and teaching learning material as recommended in the NEP. Then pre-primary education. That is always the universal thing. See, universalization of primary education is indeed the most important thing. So that has to be there. So there should be master trainers for pre-primary teachers and Anganwadi workers also. See, it's not just training the students. The ones who are training the students should also be trained. So teachers has to be trained properly to give a very good quality education to the children. That will also be taken care of. Then the another initiative called as Nipun Bharat, initiative. Here, what they'll do is yearly, or let's say an annual provision of rupees 500 per child for learning materials, then 150 per teacher for manuals and resources, and 10 to 20 lakh per district will be given for assessment for foundational literacy and numeracy. This is how it is done. Clear? And what about the children who are out of school? They'll get the support. They'll have a provision to support out of school children from 16 to 19 with the funding of rupees 2,000 per grade, so they can complete the education via open schooling. That NIOS is all there now, via that they can do it. And they'll also be able to have a greater focus on skill, vocational, or practical education, both for school students in the school and dropouts. So at the end of the day, skill development and training is also happening side by side. Is very, very important. That's called as outcome-based education training, or let's say output. That's what is more important, right? So this is what this particular topic is all about. Clear? The next one, faceless assessment scheme in the context of income tax. This is another current affairs in the month of August. So now why do we study this? Is because recently the income tax department, okay, they notified 3 official email IDs where you can register grievances under the scheme called as faceless or electronic assessment scheme. So in the year of 2020, the PM of our country, guys, announced 3 key structural tax reforms, which we studied last year. And we studied under the heading called as transparent taxation, honoring the honest platform, faceless assessment, faceless appeal, and taxpayers, charter to reduce tax dispute. Remember, so keeping that background in mind, we are going to talk about this so-called official mail IDs, which is recently put forward by the IT department under the e-assessment of faceless scheme. Clear? So I've even mentioned the second point to have a background idea for you where you have studied already with regard to these. Okay. So what is this faceless or electronic assessment scheme, guys? See, under this faceless assessment scheme, okay, if I'm a taxpayer or an SSC, there is not at all, there's no requirement for me to go and visit my department office or meet a department official for income tax related business. No collateral can be done. You do not even know to whom you're paying. You know you're paying to the government, but do not know the person or the source in which you're doing it. So no corruption, no bridging of stuff, nothing is happening. Things become more transparent. And it was launched in the year 2019, this particular faceless assessment scheme. And what is the objective? As we all know, to promote an efficient and effective tax administration, minimizing physical interference, increasing accountability, and reduction of team-based assessment. Simple as that. And don't you think so, guys? It is having a lot of advantage also. Yes, what are the advantages? Point number 1. This particular scheme gives a lot of flexibility for taxpayers and professionals representing before tax authorities. And at the same time, it also resulted in what? Substantial time saving on account of travel to tax office, waiting time over there, etc., etc. Clear? Now, having understood this, it's also important for us to have a quick look into the related recent initiatives on the same topic. One is there was a committee called as DRC, Dispute Resolution Committee. The very recent budget of 2021, the Ministry of Finance has proposed the formation of a committee called as Dispute Resolution Committee. Why? So you will be able to provide a very good relief, or let's say solution to all the tax disputes, the jagadas of the taxpayers. So what the DRC will do is the Dispute Resolution Committee, they will start addressing to small taxpayers who have a taxable income of up to rupees 50 lakh and a disputed income of up to rupees 10 lakh. So for that particular purpose only, this DRC committee was put forward and proposed by the Finance Ministry in the budget 2021. Clear? These are all the related topics, guys, which you have to revise. That's what I'm giving you. Next is Vivad Se Vishwas scheme. This is for the settlement. This scheme is for settlement of disputed tax, disputed interest, disputed penalty, or disputed fees in association or relation with assessment or assessment, etc., etc. Clear? So this is taken from the Indian Express. Next is Ujjwala version 2. Why are you studying this? See, recently the Prime Minister, he launched the second phase again, like your Samagra Shiksha scheme 2, version 2. Ujjwala is also having version 2, where they launched the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, Ujjwala 2.0 scheme. So now through this particular scheme, again, providing LPG to people is the biggest thing. But then if you see the price of petrol, the price of, all this, even the gas has shooted up like anything, right? We never know where are we ending up. We have to ask the government, where are we really ending up? That's a big question, a question, guys, of these days. So now, in this particular topic, if you see, our PM plans to promote Govardhan, that is tapping cow dung for energy on the occasion of World Biofuel Day, that is 10th of August. You want to do that. And Ujjwala is a part of the ambitious agenda for behavioral change, which will help our country, India, transit to a $5 trillion economy by the year 2024. So in the version 1, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana version 1, it was launched in the year 2016. And the objective was to provide liquefied petroleum gas, LPG connections to poor households with the deposit-free stuff. So around 8 crore people benefited from this, guys, without a deposit-free cylinder and all. What about the version 2 of Ujjwala? Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana version 2 is to provide maximum benefits to the migrants who live in other states. For example, if I belong to Kerala and go to Tamil Nadu, or let's say to Maharashtra, any other state, I still can get the benefit of all these gas connections because there'll be so much issue with regard to address proof and all. So to provide maximum benefits to the migrants who live in other states and who find it difficult to submit address proof and all, this version 2 will help. Now, it is only that you have to give a self-declaration to avail the benefit of the gas connection. Simple as that. All the migrant workers and all, it will be highly useful. So don't you think so, guys? When you cook in the traditional, firewood and all, a lot of pollution has been happening. The smoke is releasing, which is causing indoor pollution, which is causing respiratory diseases or stuffs. So this kind of LPG is actually empowering women and protecting their health, reducing the number of deaths in our country, India, because of unclean cooking fuel. A lot of children, young children at the home, when they get exposed to all this, they get a load of acute or long-term respiratory illness. All these are being prevented. You understand? Because indoor pollution is happening, air pollution is happening by burning fossil fuel. So all these things can be reduced. Clear? That is the biggest objective of the so-called Ujjwala scheme. Even the version 2 is also to strengthen that and make sure that everybody in the rural area is getting access to it. Not only rural area, people who do not have a proper LPG connections. So thus it is said that for all the people who belong to below poverty line category, this particular scheme, the feature is that they provide a financial support of rupees 1,600 for each LPG connection to the people household. So along with that, they'll also give a deposit-free LPG connection, and this Ujjwala version 2 will provide option of first refill and hot plate free of cost beneficiaries. The first refill is absolutely free of cost for them. And what the target in Ujjwala 1 version 1, the target was to provide LPG connections to 50 million women who are from the BPL category by March 2020. But however, when this scheme was put forward, and in the year 2018, women from 7 other categories were brought in the purview of the scheme as well. And not only that, guys, in Ujjwala scheme, one thing is that through this women empowerment is happening, and women importance is also given more, I can tell you. Clear? So in Ujjwala 1, this is a benefit. In Ujjwala 2, you know what happened? They want to give 50 million women. They want to give LPG connection to them. In Ujjwala 2, an additional 10 million LPG connections will be brought to the beneficiary. That is the whole idea here. And the government also fixed the target of providing piped gas to 21 lakh home in around 50 districts. It's a huge objective, guys, which is something to be considered. Clear? This is a ministry, it is LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Obviously, it's a Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, guys, who is a nodal ministry for the implementation of this particular Ujjwala version 2. So if you see, the first phase was a success because in the first phase, under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala scheme, 8 crore poor families, including tribal communities, Dalit communities, they were given free cooking gas connections. And this LPG infrastructure, they expanded manifold in the country. The last 6 years, more than 11,000 new LPG distribution centers have opened across the country. So then there are a lot of achievements in the first thing. Because of the success only, the version 2 was also brought in. So now what you can do, not just the rural area, but rather we have to extend the scheme to the poor households or put up in the urban and semi-urban slum area also. Because in urban area, you can see a lot of slums put up. Don't you think so? And there is a very much need for achieving a higher LPG cover of population and making sure that we are giving connections to households who do not even have accessibility of LPG. At the same time, entering Aadhaar numbers of all the adult family members of existing as well as new beneficiaries is very, very important to avoid duplication and to take appropriate measures to make sure that all the Kalatra people are eliminated. Clear? Is it very clear, all of you? This is what we should set from this particular topic. Next is government e-marketplace. That's another interesting topic which you should never miss out. Why this particular topic is in use is this government e-marketplace system, okay? it resulted in a 10% saving in public collection of procurement cost in 5 years. But they have still taped only 5% of India's total government purchase, which is about 20 lakh crore, I can tell you. And if you see through this GEM or government e-marketplace, 56% of order value which has been processed, they have been delivered by MSME with 7 lakh small firms on board, which means a lot of MSME has been benefited through this government e-marketplace. So because of this only, we're going to quickly have a look into what this topic is all about. It's also a news from the newspaper only, guys. So basically, government marketplace, what are they? It's a one-stop solution, a one-stop national public procurement portal, okay, which will facilitate online procurement of common use goods and service required by various central and state government departments, or let's say organizations or opposite undertakings. And the procurement of goods and service by ministries and CPSE and all, it is very, very compulsory, guys, for goods and service, which is available on the platform called as GEM, that is government enabled e-marketplace. So now this is a very good platform or a portal which is actually allowing the farmers and the people to have a quick online collection or procurement of all the common goods and services, guys. Clear? And don't you think so? Through this government e-marketplace, they provide the tools of electronic bidding and reverse electronic auction. So the government users achieve the best value for their money. It's facilitating that. And if you see presently, government e-marketplace has more than 30 lakh products and over 10 lakh crore worth transactions have happened so far at the portal also. These are all the multiple points to be noted. Clear? And when was it launched? Since 2016, to bring a transparency and efficiency in the government buying process. And since it is, government e-marketplace, e-market is coming, this industry. Yes, the nodal ministry is Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Please have a look into it. Very, very important. What are the recent updates, guys, with regard to this particular topic? There is something called as bamboo market window, the green gold collection. You can just have a look into that as well. The recent updates about this particular topic. You can just go through that also. Clear? And it is very important, the sellers of the country, in entire country now, while registering new products on GEM, it has been compulsory for them to register as well. That's also important, guys. So buyers can choose to buy only those products that meet the minimum 50% local content criteria and all through this government e-marketplace. Lot of benefits are there. It's very transparent and cost-effective procurement, less cost. And this COVID and pandemic, in spite of that, also it's kind of very friendly and very systematically done. Then they're promoting self-reliant India independent mission, that is Bharat Abhiyan, because they're encouraging self-reliance and boosting all the small-scale Indian manufacturers. Then a lot of small local sellers entry is being facilitated through this. And it's like multiple entities at one place that actually enable them to come up. So multiple benefits like this are there, guys, through this government e-marketplace. Clear? So thus, it's very important that this government e-marketplace, which is having an ambition to grow in size and becoming one-stop shop for both buyers and sellers, have to be promoted. Clear? If it is maintained properly, then they can effectively overcome the challenges that limit its growth, and they can literally make sure that the marketplace between buyers and sellers become more convenient as well through the electronic platform with a more systematic and transparent functioning. So this is what you have to study with regard to the current affairs for the month of August 2021. Is it very clear? Any doubt, any queries? Quick. 4 more months are there. 4 more. It's 3:30 now. It's already 4 hours. Do you want to take one more hour till 5 o'clock, till 4:30? Or you want it to be done in some other class? September, October, November, December. 4 more, months are there. Think and tell. The choice is yours. I can take. I have no issues. You want the next class? Okay, let me show you out what is there in September. We have 3 topics like AFP, voucher based digital payment, then responsible consumption, and production stuff, then sweat, surrection, gramming, all these topics are put out. Then from 3 topics from September. Let me see. From October, only 2 things. Global minimum tax deal, India to reach carbon neutrality by 2070. That is with regard to your, COP, Conference of Party 26 in Glasgow, based on that. Only 2 topics in October is there. Then November you have, November you will be knowing. PCA framework revise, we revised that. Then draft scheme of amalgamation of PMC and USF Bank with regard to RBI. Then whistleblower portal, IREDA. And with regard to, December, let me check, wait. Only 2 things, because December only half we reached. Maybe I can update 2 more articles if I do it on some other day. The monetary policy report of RBI and the new bi-monthly report, and the bank, non-bank financial company co-lending. Bank and NBFC co-lending, based on that. That's very simple only, but the point is, these topics are a little important. I cannot rush it out. It will need at least 2 hours for me to complete this, honestly. If I want to rush it now, it will not benefit you, because these are all taxations and some are monetary policy perspective. I don't want to actually trouble you with the same. That is also there. So you tell me, I can do it. If you're okay for another yeah, it will take 1 hour. 1 September, October, you can do in 1 hour. Yeah, September, October 1, November, December, 2 hours it will take altogether. You all want next class. So the same link we cannot do. So what we'll do is, I'll do a part 2 of the same. Okay, a part 2 of the same. Shall we do it tomorrow? Quickly tell me. Tomorrow what? Because tomorrow 8:30 to 9:30 have editorial. So 2 hours is required. People are thinking. Tomorrow, ma'am, tomorrow. Chalo, no issues. So yes, my young officers, we have 3 more months. That is September, October, November, December, which will require 2 hours. And I'll update December also till today. I'll update whatever, there's some news are there. And fatafat will finish at another 2 hours tomorrow. Okay, I'll tell you the timing. So tomorrow probably, we have a special class also lined up. So let me see at what time. If it is a little late also, you all can come, right? Is that okay? Because morning time, I'm not sure if I can make it up. Morning time, if there is a possibility, then I would have done in the morning. 10 to 11, 11 to 12, otherwise I have to keep. That is after your editorials now. From 10 to 12, I have to keep tomorrow. Is that okay for you? Midnight classes? Then it should be fine. Okay. Then after editorials, what will soon after editorials now? 10 we'll keep. 10 to 11:30 to maximum 1.5 hours I'll keep. 1.5 hours to 2 hours. We'll finish before that. Don't worry. Okay. We'll fatafat do a 360-degree coverage. Clear? So yes, thank you so much, my young officers. That was indeed a great session. Normally we do sessions for 3 and 3.5 hours, but then it became to 4, right? 11:30 to 12:30, then 12:30 to 1:30, 2:30 to 3:30. Yeah, 4 hours. So I don't want to nag yourself more. Too many things now. Come on. Your brains will become something else. Let me not do that with you people. So thank you so much, my young officers. I hope you really enjoyed this session. So I'll see you all. I'll see you all soon for the next class. And the next class will be on, 1 second. The next class will be done tomorrow at 10 p.m. the part 2. So don't forget 8:30 to 9:30 we have the editorials. And you also have from 5 to, not 5, 4:30 to 5:30, you'll be having a special class. Then 6 to 7, you have another special class. And then 8:30 to 9:30, the YouTube editorials, and 10 to, 12, the very same class. That is the, very same marathon series that will also happen on the same day, because you have to finish it off. I'll create another link as part 2 for you. Clear? Since you have crossed 4 hours, that is the reason I don't want to bombard you with more. So thank you so much. So before leaving the class, don't forget to put forward valuable feedbacks and comments, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe the channel, and put whatever comments, whatever feedbacks you have in the comment box. When live streaming is done, you put your comments in that. Clear? Because that will enable me to come with more and more marathons to know your feedbacks, how did this benefit you, whatever doubts, whatever queries you have, you can put it down. And one more thing, if you want to be a part of the Unacademy Plus platform, you can use the code Nisha IAS Live. Be it free class, be it plus class. The code is the same, guys. Nisha IAS Live. Clear? So don't miss it out. Before the annual price hike, make sure that this code has been used to get a discount in the plus platform. At the same time, if you want to watch the free class also, in the free class or special class, the same code Nisha IAS Live is applicable to unlock the classes. Clear? Chalo. So thank you so much, my young officers. I hope you really enjoyed the session. So now it's time for us to wind up. So bye-bye. Thank you so much. Take care. And Jai Hind.